What is going on, everybody out there on YouTube? How are y'all? We are going to have a fantastic show tonight. You know, I thought about starting to open these shows like Conan O'Brien used to open up his shows. Just come on here and go, guys, this show's going to suck. It's going to be terrible. I'm so sorry. We have an awful show for y'all. And then it always turned out to be a great show. But maybe if I do like the whole reverse psychology thing, it might work. But anyways, welcome everybody who is here. Henry, Outsider Gaming Night, Michael, Toolman, Warawana, Will 777JP. Well, he's on the panel. But yes, he's in the chat as well. Josh, and RPG88, Nelson Gaming Culture. What's up, Nels? And did I get everybody? Did I get everybody? Did I get everybody? I did. All right, guys, share this out. Tonight is going to be a lot of gaming talk, things that further our gaming experiences, things that we want to see in gaming, And just overall, we're also gonna talk a little bit about the state of gaming, and not just gaming. PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, one's better than the other. None of like not a lot of that. There's gonna be a little bit of that, but not just a ton. Just kind of more industry wide things that I'm noticing, and I'm sure Will is kind of noticing with the Summer Games Fest and the way Jeff Keighley is trying to curb those expectations, and we are hearing stories about there's not any major announcements for that, and so we're going to talk about just the overall state of gaming this year, because even though we're getting a lot of games, it does kind of feel like a down year. Also, Destiny Final Shape, it released like every other game as a service game almost has released. But this isn't their first title, so we're going to talk about what happened. And then PlayStation Plus Essential titles this month, I actually put that in the topic list for tonight because it's phenomenal. Like, this is probably in the way of PlayStation Plus Essential Elite, at least, probably one of the best months that we've had in a while. And it's not because all the games are AAA and all the games are massive big budget games, but it's because all the games are just good video games. And so months like that, when you get that as part of like a subservice where it's just good games, I like to highlight that. And then we are going to talk about the lovely way that PS4 beat out the Xbox Series X and X or X and S in Spain, because that's funny as all get out. So we're going to cover that a little bit if we have time. Without any further ado, and no more gilding the lily because the lily has been gilded enough. Will, how the hell are you, sir?
What up, Thrifty? I'm good, man. What's up, chat? How y'all doing?
Man, I think they're doing great. We'll find out in about 20 seconds. But I'm doing good. I'm actually super hyped for tonight. I had that roadblock earlier of like there's just not a lot of major news that dropped. What's up, Zero Steel? There's not a lot of major news that has dropped, and I was like, you know what? There's nothing that really hits that itch of like, hey, I need to go ahead and cover this. I need to talk about this. I have a lot to talk about. And so, man, shout out to Will. I messaged him earlier and told him what I was dealing with and just that I couldn't think of anything. And he rattled off like 7 things. So this whole show tonight has been sculpted by, from Will, just like being with his fingers on the pulse of gaming. And my head's been in the clouds and in Diablo. So Will, what game are you playing now? Are you playing like Cat Dog number 7 or what are we doing?
Okay, first off, don't make fun of Cat Quest. That game is actually really good. Couch
Actually, sir,
co-op available.
Cat Dog is a children's book that my son reads. Sorry.
Oh, oh,
Or
okay.
Catman and Dog Girl or something.
Cat Quest. No, that game comes out. I think it's August. I already got mine pre-ordered through Amazon. I'm excited for that. It's kind of a pain in the ass because I had to pay an extra $10 to get the physical edition through Amazon. Where on PSN it's 19.99, but of course if you're a PS Plus member, it's like 17.99 or 18, something like that, a couple dollars off. But no, haven't played any of those, even though I got the first one platinum. I should get the second one platinum before the third one comes out. But nope, I've been playing Metro games. I beat Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light last weekend. And then I jumped into Destiny the day before yesterday, so Monday. I've been playing with RPG, try to play with Henry as well yesterday, but the servers were, you know, completely backlogged, and we'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, those has been it. But Metro has been the games I've been focusing on. I got the first two beat, working on Metro Exodus, getting ready for the Metro VR game that's supposed to drop this year.
Man, so Metro is one. So I still haven't fully beat the third one. I am past the first big open area. After you take the train ride, uh, I'm past the first major open area, and Metro is one of those titles that I Thrifty. This is a PlayStation channel, sir. I know we're gonna get there. Uh, the it's a game that you can always go back to. Like it's always a good game. Like, does that make sense? Like, even though the first one kind of shows its age, even with the redo or the redux, and so does Last Light, like they're still really good and really fun games to still play. And so I love them. I got the entire bundle back when it was 14.99, and now I think you posted in the Discord that they have it on sale now for like, what was it, 9.99 for everything, including the
Yeah.
Exodus and all the DLC.
Yeah, yeah, which I mean, I'm a big Metro fan, but I highly recommend the trilogy, even just for Exodus alone. I mean, Exodus, they did the PS5 whatever upgrade a couple of years ago, and that game runs at 4K 60. Like
Yeah.
it's a gorgeous game. And also the other thing about Metro that I highly advertise is Metro Exodus has a DLC called the Two Kernels. I think it's one of the best DLCs ever in video game history. I mean, talk about emotional, talk about great storytelling. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And another unique thing about Metro is that you can kind of play it in two ways. You can play it as kind of like kind of dungeon crawler horror type of game, or you can play in Spartan mode, which is more kind of action adventure type, where it's faster, your bullets and ammunition and your gas mask filters are more bountiful. So you can play it whichever way you prefer to play games. If you want to play like what's those Capcom games, scary ones, Resident Evil. If you want to
Yeah.
play it more like a Resident Evil game, you absolutely can. Or if you want to play it more like a kind of an action adventure kind of game, you can also do that. Which I don't know of many other games that actually do that. This is my first time coming across something like this. But also, I've been gaming heavily only for the last 3 or 4 years, so there's still a lot of games that I got to catch up on, still a lot of games that I got to play. But just from recent memories, the only one that I can think of.
Yeah, so you were talking about the sales that are going on right now, and somebody in the chat, Josh, actually said he got 3 games. Or sorry, not Josh. Zero Steel said he got 3 games on this PlayStation sale. And guys, fun fact, they just updated and released another sale, and right now, Ghost of
1800.
Tsushima Director's Cut is $30. Now, these are digital. So I understand that we have some people in the crowd that never buy digital anymore, some people that still do, what have you. It's up to you. I'm not going to pocket watch, neither is Will, and nobody else in the chat will either. And if they do, they're lousy, lousy human beings. Resident Evil 3 is $9 right now. $9 for the Resident Evil 3 re-release. I can't remember if that was a
The
remaster or a
remake,
remake. Yeah, I couldn't remember
yeah,
if it was a
remake.
remake or remaster. Uh, but
There's an additional 1,500 games they added today.
yeah,
1,500.
yeah. So 4, 5, and 6 uh, for Resident Evil, 12.99. Sonic Frontiers, the digital deluxe. No, nope. Assassin's Creed Origins is $9. Probably my favorite of the new Assassin's Creed style games. Uh, Fun fact: the only one I actually stomached through and actually beat. Because I loved the freaking story up until the very end. It's such a shitty story at the very end. You get Metro Exodus, the Gold Edition, for $5.99. There's also a bundle on here. That's why I had bundles turned off. There's a bundle on here. Here, let me see if I can just bring this over. This is not what we were going to do tonight, but Will mentioned sales, and I remembered that the sales had updated today. So, like, right here, guys, if y'all can see that, let me take down the YouTube chat for a sec.
Oh, and by the way, don't take away the credit from yourself. You're the one who brought up sales. You just asked me about Metro, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Metro's on sale."
Yeah, I completely. Well, because Zero Steel said he got 3 games on sale for
Oh
this
yeah,
sale.
yeah. I
And
know
it,
Warwana just bought it. I think Henry just bought it. Henry on the chat just said like $10 or something like that.
yeah, that's like insane. Because let me get over here to the bundle of it. $10 Resident Evil. Where is it? I think they also have the Resident Evil 2 and 3 for like $13, which I think is the lowest I've seen it. It normally doesn't. It normally hasn't dropped below 15. All right. Where is it? Damn it! Oh, you can get the full Devil May Cry collection for $9.89. Like, guys, there. There, oh, you can get Stalker if you want to have a terrible experience. Yeah, there's so many games on sale, so freaking many, and this sale does not end, I think until June, July. Like I think until like end of June, beginning of July, if I'm not mistaken. Because it's gonna last for the Summer Games Fest uh, stuff. I can't talk tonight. Sleeping Dogs. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what I saw earlier. Sleeping Dogs is $4.49. For God's sake, if you've never played that game, you owe it to yourself and your gaming life to play it. It is fantastic. It is a open world game with a small world and very, very great story. I don't know how else to put that. Uh, you can get Resident Evil Revelation 1 and 2 for $7.49. There's a ton of sales. Speaking of sales, let's go ahead and just start with the fun one. PS4 beat Xbox Series X and S sales. Yes, it was in Spain, but how bad do you have to be to get beat by a, what, 13-year-old console now? No, 10-year-old? Will, is it, how old is the PS4?
PS4, I think it's 11 years old. When did it come out? 2013
Was it 13 or 14?
or
It was
14?
13. It was 13. End of
13. So
13.
yeah, going on 11. Going on
Yeah.
11 years, right?
11 years and you get beat and you're beating out Series X and S, which like good Lord Jesus, how bad do you have to say you suck for that to happen? Like that's absolutely nuts. So we all know it's over, but does this kind of solidify that? Like, do you think Spain's going to start doing what the EU was contemplating doing and pulling the Xbox just off the shelf?
Um, well, I run a store and I manage inventory. And if there's inventory that doesn't sell, no matter if there's 5 customers a year that come and buy this specific item, I get rid of it and I put something else in its place that can get the opportunity to sell. And if that one doesn't sell, I can keep it moving with a new product. Now, with video game consoles, a little bit different because there's only three. So then the question is going to be, well, do we just double up on PlayStations and Nintendos to take up some of that space? I think what they might end up doing is they won't get rid of the Xbox. They will keep it as an online only item, but in the store they might just get rid of it completely. I mean, at least that's what I would do if I managed a store that size or with those type of items. As far as this, does it solidify it? No, we've known this. It's been a
Okay.
decade that PlayStation has solidified themselves. I think what we're getting right now is it's just the clarification on where Xbox has been, is going, and where it was. I think that people had a lot of nostalgia goggles on for Xbox. That 360, man, it was so strong that really, it put a grip on people, and I think it made them act irrational, especially with information. And just to give you a quick little example of that, uh, just right before the show, Octopath Traveler 2 came out today for consoles, and they're both, I think they're both, or maybe got two. One of them is on Game Pass, and I saw somebody on X say Octopath Traveler on X just shows you that uh, who made that game, whatever developer made that
Square
game, it's
Enix.
all about their money. Square Enix is about their money, and I commented and I said actually it's quite the opposite. We know that we know that developers skip Xbox because there really is no, it's not worth it to put it on Xbox. And he says, you don't know that. You don't show me the numbers. And I say, well, you don't really need to see the numbers to know that that's a fact, right? If games are coming to different consoles but not yours, what does that tell you? I mean, we as gamers, we love games, right? We're passionate about them, we play them. But the CEO of Square Enix isn't really checking out to see how much a game is loved. He's checking to see how much a game is selling, how much money they're making out of
Facts.
it. So I don't think that this solidifies any. This just gives them a view. It's grounding people now to see what's been happening for many, many years. And unfortunately, like we said on the show many times, it's just fucking late. It's just too late for them, man. We had to have the reaction that some of the Xbox guys are having 5, 6, 7 years ago. That was the time to have these reactions. Not when you're at the funeral waiting for the dirt to be thrown on top of the coffin.
Speaking of reactions, here we go. Also, there's some reverb. Is that coming from my mic or you? It's like coming back in my ear as I talk. I don't know. Chat, let me know if you can hear like an echo. Okay, so here we go. We have JP Loco with the Australian 5. Hellblade 2 selling worse than Hellblade 1, less than 5,000 copies. 24th most played Xbox game, didn't even crack top 50 on Steam sales. Holy shit. Speaking of throwing dirt on the grave, God bless. Oh my goodness. Josh said he hears it and it's your mic. That's what he says. That's what the producer is saying. The producer that doesn't pay us. Uh,
Well, we should be paying him technically.
oh, hey, it's gone. It's gone now. I don't know if he did anything, but yeah, we should be paying him.
Nope, didn't do anything.
Didn't do nothing. Interesting. Well, F it. Okay, so RPG88 gifted another member, Marty McFly. I love that freaking name, dude. You've been in the chat before. I appreciate that some people that I keep seeing get memberships and stuff like that. Saving money for Sony. Yes. So I do agree that putting the game on Game Pass, it's almost the only surefire way that Square or any developer is going to get any money for their efforts of putting a game on Xbox. Like that's it. It's through those deals. Also, what's really funny is it's Octopath Traveler is on sale right now for $39.59 on the PlayStation Store. That's digital, of course, but on the PlayStation Store, it's on sale for $20 off. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that sale is like all over the world, but that's still really good. You know what I mean? $20 off, and they still probably put it on Game Pass because they knew that even at $20 off, Xbox still wouldn't buy it.
Well, I think they made a lot of their money on Nintendo already,
Oh,
So I
sure.
think this is more of like whatever we can get, we can get.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Now, I am excited to try it. Last time I played an Octopath game, uh, I played the demo, I think, on the Switch for the first Octopath, and it was not, it like made me nauseous. So I'm gonna see if I can play the new one because I really love the way the game looks. It looks really cool. What's going on in the chat? Hey, what's up, hero? Glad you can make it, man. You are a busy, busy man, so I'm glad you take some of your free time and spend it here, man. That says a lot. So yeah, PS4 beats out Xbox in Spain. Not a lot of news there. PS4 is outselling Xbox new consoles in Spain. That's like they suck. Cool. And now we get to move on. Okay, so we had a great and awesome debate. Oh, shoot. Hey, speaking of gifted members, here we go. We added quite a few names to the list. I am not going to read them all, but we did add quite a few playgrounders to the Playground Partner Program. I don't know. So thank all of y'all. As this list keeps growing, the names will keep getting smaller and smaller to fit everybody until they can no longer fit on here anymore. I really appreciate all the support and everything y'all have done just over the past few weeks. It's been insane. Uh, I know, Hero. I know you're busy, dude. I see you hop into the Discord. Hey guys, bye guys. Like, okay, we'll hear from him in a couple days again. But I'm glad you stay connected. I'm glad you stay apart. And for everybody who's been gifted, guys, that's awesome. Thank you to those who do. I know Stephen Leon, or Stephen Leon. I keep wanting to make his name sound like French. Stephen Leon dropped a couple big ones last week. RPG88 keeps coming in here and dropping them consistently every week. So just thank y'all very much for that. And once again, like and subscribe. That helps out the channel dang near as much as the money does, and I'm not even kidding. Uh, Nights where people share this out, we get 30, 40 viewers. Nights where I can see that it's not being shared out, we usually hover around the 20 to 27 range. So listen, being able to do this is just so great. And part of the ways you can interact with us is through the Discord. We are very active on there. We argue and we talk and we share stuff and talk about games and just have a great time on there. Like, really, it's an awesome community. And so I urge you to join that. It's a wonderful way to talk with some of these guys who you talk with in the chat all the time. You can hit up Will, you can hit me up in there. Uh, and so join the Discord. It is fan freaking tastic. And yeah, with that, one of the things that happened in the Discord this week was uh, I'm in love with the PlayStation Portal. I think it's one of the best peripherals I've ever had, or that I've ever actually been inclined to purchase. And peripheral, I'm not meaning a separate console. I'm not meaning a separate handheld. I'm not meaning its own gaming device. I'm meaning a peripheral, an accessory. And so I think it is probably one of the best, if not the best, accessory for a console system I've ever owned. And so I absolutely love it. And then we got on this whole debate. And so I'm going to kind of bring that here because not everybody here is in the Discord. And it was a really good debate. It ended with neither side really moving, but we just moved on and started talking about other games. So, yeah, Nelson, I know. I know, Nelson. I know. I know. You think it's crap. We're going to get into this. Byron Cutler, this channel will have the best reactions this Friday. Maybe. Friday nights at my house are pretty booked. We have friends over to do some of that whole real life touching grass type stuff, and so it's a dedicated night where I actually interact with people. So, anyways, with that being said, okay, so I absolutely love the Portal. Nelson, who's not here, he's at work. God love you. Nelson said that it all it does is replaces a TV. Why not just buy a TV? And that sparked this whole long debate.
Nelson's right.
And then Will chimes in and says Nelson's right. And Warawana and myself are constantly arguing against that. So here's the deal. We have a couple emojis y'all can use. Big win, huge loss. Y'all can put up the gaming icons. Y'all can do some of that. I am working on new uh, three new emojis for that. And so we'll get into that later. But let's start this. Okay. So I'm going to put out the position that for $200, the PlayStation Portal is absolutely the best accessory that I have ever used. Now, there's a few things in there that are kind of unarguable because they're my opinion, and as we've all said before, you're allowed to have your own opinion. Uh, but I am okay being challenged on my opinion, and Will knows that. I know that about him. That's why we come on here sometimes because these arguments are really fun. Uh, and at the end of the day, whether he thinks it's shit and I think it's amazing or vice versa, I don't care. Him and I are still going to play Diablo 4 together sometime this week or next. Like it doesn't matter. But it is fun to talk about because there are two sides of this debate. There's the side that says it's pointless, and then there's the side that says it's the greatest thing ever. There's also this lovely like libertarian side in the middle that's like, some people like it, some people don't. whatever. But those people, so Warrawana, that's kind of you in this scenario. Like, I think it's great for who you're going to have. I think it's awesome for, like, if you have this scenario or that scenario. But if not, then no. Like, I think your video that you did on it was great. Man overboard. I disagree. My charging dock is used more. No, no, no. I'm not saying what is used more. I'm saying what is the best accessory. Like, yes, the charging dock is used more, but if I didn't have that, I would just plug it in to the front of the PlayStation using the little cord. Like, that's fine. The so my thing on it is I love it. I get to play games while my kids are watching TV. I get to be in the living room with them at the same exact time, so I can kind of monitor what's going on. Uh, and it makes it to where I don't need to purchase a second PS5 and a second TV, or to hole myself up in a different room of the house when the living room has the biggest TV and the most comfortable couch. So, that's my thought on it. I think it's fantastic. Will, I want to hear why a $200 TV, which is what Nelson was proposing, fixes this issue and makes the PlayStation Portal a non what was the word you used? Will, what was the word you used, man? You called it something. Like not necessity. No, it wasn't that. It was shit.
Non-essential, maybe.
Non-essential. Yep, there you go. I think that's what you called it.
Well, Nelson is correct. A second TV just handles everything the Portal is. Now,
Okay. How?
the because you still need your PS5
Correct. So how does a second TV fix the problem that the Portal solves? I'm honestly
because
hating because I
if
can't find one at retail price. Hey, Will, we
dude,
got
you
to
can
we got to get this dude a portal. You got to do your
follow us
magic.
on X. Follow us on X, and we will get you a Portal probably within a week or two.
And it's it's it's
Uh,
it's not us. It's Will because he follows Wario64 like nuts, and he will send it to you. That's how I got mine.
yeah, yeah. Just follow us on X, Will777JP. I'm under Thrifty's friends list. Shoot me a DM, and we'll work with you, bro. I'll work with you.
Yeah. So go
Also, when the
ahead.
PS5 first came out, I also helped a few people get one. So, I mean, hey, anything I can do to help out gamers. What was the question? Second TV. Well, dude, it's if the argument that I've been seeing over and over again is, well, the kids are watching TV or they have the TV hogged up. Well, I can just turn the Portal on and game. Okay, well, a second TV handles that because then the kids go and watch the other TV while you use the TV that the PS5 is hooked up to. I
What
mean,
if your
it's that
kids are
simple.
what if your kids are little and don't want to be in a room without you in it?
Well, I mean, then that goes into how you're raising your kids, right? I mean, are we gonna take charge? Or we're gonna let kids tell us how we should be doing things around the house.
I mean, it's not telling them what to. It's not letting them tell us what to do. It's going, okay, my 10-year-old, absolutely, I can send him off to his room, and he can find crap to do in there. No big deal. My 5-year-old, it's different. He still likes and wants to be around mommy and daddy, even if we're doing separate things. And Josh just brought up the point in the chat that I was going to bring up. How much is a new TV?
For 1080p, under $200 for 40 some inch.
Okay, so let's pretend that if I'm spending money on a TV, I want a good TV. Not amazing, but a good
Well, no,
TV.
because we got to compare it to the 1080p of the Portal.
That's different. The Portal
So
is
you
a,
can't say I want a 4K TV when the Portal is 1080p, and that's not a fair comparison.
but most of those 1080p TVs can't do 60 frames per second either.
Some can. You can actually. I have bought my son one exactly like that, 1080p from Target, $160 for a 32 inch. And this was last year, so I'm guessing they're cheaper now.
Okay, so I am going to push back because 1080p on an 8-inch screen, you can't tell at 60 FPS. 60 FPS.
Okay, so which one is it, Thrifty? You can't tell or you can't get it.
What do you mean?
Well, first you said you can't get one. I gave you an example, and then you said, well, you can't really notice it.
No, no, no. I'm talking about on the portal, you can't notice it. So, in other words, on a 42-inch television, that's $200. You're going to notice it at 1080p because it looks like shit because it's a bigger picture.
Yeah, but that's not the argument here. The argument is usage because you can get bad connectivity with your portal, and now you're back to shitty connection.
But I don't
And
have
it does
shitty
happen on the
connection.
portal.
Oh, hang on,
Well,
hang
because
on.
you've
I'm
been
I'm I'm missing stuff. Hang on. Sorry. Michael with the $5. I wish they add cloud support to it. I think it would increase PS Premium subscriptions. Absolutely. I'm still
that would
going.
make it different.
Yes, and I'm still going to hold out that the next one they do is going to have that, and it'll be released with the PS6. And then JP Loco with the Australian 5. Prices revealed for Astrobot will be $60. Concord will be 40. GTA 6 will be 100. I wow. So back. Thank you guys for the super chats. I'm going to talk about that second one in a little bit. Uh, so you're saying a $200 TV shove the kids off into another room solves the problem of the Switch or of the Portal.
Not even to another room. You can set it right next to the TV you're gonna use.
Okay, so this was my counter to that point. Okay, since we're gonna, I can go round and round on screen resolution, but we're not gonna get anywhere on that because I will disagree with you all day long on screen resolution on a 42-inch versus screen resolution on an 8-inch. Uh, one is gonna
Well, you
look a
can
whole lot
downgrade to
cleaner.
27 inch. You can downgrade to you can get it to what works. You can get a monitor size TV. Where now you're looking at way better clarity, way better lag, way better everything. So I mean, those are semantics, right? But
Right.
the point is, you can play a game on a TV just like you can play a game on the portal. You still need a PS5.
Yes. Like I don't. So yes, but that's the thing. I don't want to send my kids into another room and just shoo them away. Like,
Yeah, but those are personal things. Those are, little
well, why the
things
hell else
that.
do I buy stuff? I don't buy stuff for anybody else. I buy stuff for personal reasons.
Well, I get that, but when we're talking about the general population,
You
then
don't.
another
So
TV that can be multi-use is way more beneficial than a portal.
I disagree depending on what the family wants.
But that's what you're saying. It depends. But if we're talking about general usage, the TV is going to outwin the portal. Remember, the portal can't do anything without the PlayStation. TV can do many other things without a PlayStation. They're both similarly priced, and they both do the same thing. It's just one has way more features and options than the other. But now, if we add on other things like cloud, well, that's, whole other conversation there.
So one of the things I mentioned in the chat, in the Discord, was there are times where I play games that I don't want my kids watching. Okay, and it is much easier to be playing on my portal, and even if they're not in the room, like I've done this with them even not in the room. I'm playing a game. Take Diablo for example. I don't need them seeing some of the cutscenes that are in Diablo. And so I have it on my portal. They walk around the corner, I tilt the screen, they can't see nothing. I can't really do that on the PlayStation unless I go back to the home screen. And then I have my kids looking at me going, Dad, what was that? What did I just see? What was that? Well, what you just saw was a demon with her chest half out who was seducing a dude. My bad. Like, and so you have several instances where the portal definitely comes in handy, which is why it's a great accessory, right? I've not presented it in a way, or at least I haven't tried to present it in a way where it's a must need, must get. It's amazing. Actually, the thing I posted on X was that people who said this had no audience were dead wrong. And I'm right in that. Like there's no way that with the sales numbers that it's done that I'm wrong in that. It's sold over 1 million already for an accessory. It's been sold out since it launched. It's still sold out. And so I'm with Wara said quality time with the misses. Oh, the Yams game. Yes, RPG88, the Yams game. Actually, dude, I didn't dress her all skimpy, so I didn't really care if my kids saw that game. That game didn't matter.
But
Uh,
see, not to interrupt you, Trudy, but what War just said with the super chat, that's what it's called, super chat?
yeah, hang on. Did I miss one? Oh shit, I did. Whoops. Example: how do I play the PS5 on my sim rig in the lounge, then go play in the bedroom at night while the missus reads? Quality time on the portal.
But
Okay.
these examples are super duper specific. Like, not everybody, the majority of people don't have this problem. Actually, I would argue the majority of people allocate time for gaming. They get their hour in or two, whatever, and they put it down and they go about their day. We're the hardcore gamers, so we're looking to sneak in every little minute that we can on gaming. But even something like that, Wara, is is handled. You don't go in the bedroom with the wife. You finish your game and then you go back in. But you still need a PS5 to make this happen. And once that feature or that thing that you needed to do was completed, it's not useful anymore. Where a TV, you can shut off the gaming system and now watch the news, watch a movie, watch a TV show, whatever, play music, whatever.
So one of they are so specific to over 1 million people. Thank you, Hero. That's kind of what I was going to say. But Warawana also said this: how does my missus go outside on her hammock and play her Portal to relax? With a second
Another
TV
thing
instead?
that I wanted to bring up. The portal is for the in-home only. Now, just because I can
Lies.
go outside with it, right, doesn't mean that that is a feature. That's just something that you are able to do and you got lucky with. I said this on the chat. I can take the portal to work and play it no problems. I go to my mom's house, which is closer than work, and I can never connect. Now, do I get mad at PlayStation? No, because PlayStation told me this is for in the home only, works best with the same Wi-Fi connection. So yes, going outside with a hammock, or yes, going on vacation and using it. Yeah, those are cool things that can happen, but these aren't things that we should say you can also do. Is you may or it's possible you can do these things. So that shouldn't even be part of the discussion because it's not advertised by PlayStation and not everybody can do that.
Okay, so
You can
when
actually argue that you can take a TV anywhere with you, and as long as you can plug it in, which you need to plug in the portal as well, it works.
yeah, but then I got to take my PlayStation with me.
Doesn't
Like,
matter. You can use the TV for other things. That's the thing. You can watch movies. You can hook it up to your phone's hotspot or whatever, just like you would need with the portal. You got to hook it up to some sort of internet connection. It's the same thing. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to lug around the TV. I get that, but tablet, for example,
right, but my thing was, and Wara pointed it out earlier, you actually called it pointless.
I
I think,
never said it's pointless. If did I say pointless? If it is,
yeah, you said
I want to
pointless
say
in
it's
the Discord.
pointless.
So that was
I mean, it is pointless at the end of the day.
okay. So
So
yeah,
if I didn't say it, I'm saying it now. It's pointless. It's a pointless accessory.
and that's
It's a
where I
cool
disagree.
accessory.
That's where I don't. It can't be pointless, and us giving you all these scenarios where it's not pointless. And yes, they are specific scenarios. I get that. It is also an accessory. Accessories are not meant to be sold to every single person who owns that device or who owns the primary. Like, Apple doesn't think every single iPhone owner is going to buy a pair of AirPods,
No, but they'll buy the next iPhone.
but they'll buy right. And so iPhone to PS5 AirPods to the Portal, it's the same thing. It's an accessory. And PlayStation's accessory line since the Portal dropped is up 28%. 14 of that is coming from the handheld devices. So obviously there's a market for it, making it not pointless, right? Like
Well,
we,
that doesn't equate. One doesn't equate the other. Just because something is pointless doesn't mean that there's no market for it.
but
There's a lot of market for a lot of things that
but
are
there
literally
being a
pointless.
but there being a market for it means it's not pointless.
Okay, let me ask you this, Thrifty. The OnlyFans girl who sells her bath water for $100 a pop and makes millions. There's a
Okay.
market for it, but it's pointless.
Okay, wait a second. Hang on, because I knew you were gonna go there. Because that's the honestly, as I was saying it, I was like, he's gonna pop up something like the girl who sold her farts in a jar for like 50 grand each. Like I I had expected that, and I was like,
I
okay,
was wrong in the bar
so,
from body.
that's so bad. Warawana with the Australian 2. I agree. A second TV will be more useful for more people, though. Sure, I'm not. Yes, and so what I'm gonna say is yes. In my opinion, that is pointless. But guess what? To the weird nut jobs that buy it, it's not pointless. So the way saying it's pointless gets fixed is if you say, "Hey, this is pointless to me." Because then that changes it from a definitive statement to a personal opinion and personal preference. Because there are over 1 million people who said, "No, this thing's not pointless for me. This thing actually is amazing. It
Well,
increases."
you can't generalize like that because who knows how many of those million bought it just because it was new tech
I
or
mean,
just
that's
because it's
true.
another controller.
But even then, even if they're like, "Hey, I just want it because it's new tech," that's not pointless to them.
Well, but yes, but the overall scheme of things, it's pointless because there's TVs are available. If TVs weren't available, then yes, but because there is TVs, it makes it pointless
To you,
in general.
to you. Well, because in well, 1 million tried it. They still bought it. They still sold. And
So you
yes,
never bought something and you regret buying it, but you can't return it.
mm,
Yes, everybody has thrifty, whether it's a lunch,
yeah, it might have been
whether
like,
it's
yeah.
whatever, a shirt.
Sorry,
You
I was
thought it looked
thinking
good in
I,
that.
I was thinking about something like bigger, but no, I mean, yeah, I've bought stuff like I've tried a new soda and been like, "Oh, that's disgusting."
Okay,
And
Josh, I
like,
never said that. Of course, it matters if it's selling because that's income. That's income that could be used for other things that
right,
maybe may not be
meaning it's not
pointless.
pointless.
But it's not necessary.
Perfect. I can agree with you there because no accessory is absolutely necessary for the
But it's
main
still
device to
pointless.
function. But it's not. Like if you would leave it
Well,
at
there's no point in keep talking about it because we're gonna disagree to. I mean, literally, it's a pointless thing.
it's fun. It's a fun
Yes,
topic.
I never said it wasn't fun or fun topic. Well, it's pointless, dude. Because like Nelson says, where's Nelson at? I need you to
Where's Nelson?
give me a heart or something. It's just when there's other options. I mean, even the what's that called? The backbone, right?
Yeah, the strap on.
Yeah, the strap on. I mean, that thing for $100 more, you get the portal. It's definitely worth that upgrade. Oh, 100%, I agree. But the backbone is also pointless.
Yeah, I don't like the backbone because it has to run through your phone. Uh, that was my main problem with it. Was that you had to use your phone or a secondary phone, and I just didn't like that because you had so much crap running in the background. That's actually the experience of the PlayStation Remote Play app on your phone is night and day different than playing it on the Portal. because the portal
Exactly.
doesn't have any shit running in the background. You're not getting Discord messages, emails, text messages. A random phone call will disconnect your ass. Like, it sucked playing on my phone when I did that because I had one of the Razer strap-ons. I think the point is to make Sony money. Yep, I wouldn't mind having one at work. So that's what I was actually going to say earlier. I've used my now. I'm in the United States, and our internet is not the best in the world, but it's definitely not the worst. And I can use my phone as long as I have 5G. I can use my phone as a hotspot, and I have no problems playing games, even driving in the car, like in the passenger seat, and I have no problem playing those games. I think I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth actually that way for the first couple hours of it, I believe. And so uh, I don't know if that works everywhere. I know that it's not advertised that that's how it's supposed to work, but for me at least, it does work that way. But like Will said, this is pointless. It was fun. The chat was super involved in that. But it was just a fun debate to have in the open because I think that it was a good topic in our Discord this week. Next, let's get into Summer Games Fest. Let's go back into talking about games and not accessories. So Jeff Keighley has basically come out and said, "Hey, listen, we need y'all just lower your expectations for Summer Games Fest." Uh, because we're not going to have anything really brand new. It's going to be a lot of stuff we've already seen. It's going to be updates on games and things like that. And so I'm 2024 is sounding more like it's a setup year, it's a down year, I don't even want to say down year because we're still getting good games. We're still getting fun games, but it seems like it's almost like a rebuild season if you're into sports. Like the team is reloading and gonna go after it real hard next season. Feel like it's kind of being phoned in this year. Will, what do you think on that?
Well, I remember last quarter, fourth quarter of 2023, and people were super excited about 2024 and how they thought it was going to be a better year than 2023. I had my reservations, and they're coming to fruition right now. I agree. I think it's going to be a bad year in gaming, and the only reason I said that, not that there's no games to play, because and fact check me on this or whatever, but I read somewhere recently where there was over 4,000 games that came out on PC and over, I think it was like 1,000 or 2,000 games that came out on PlayStation, or are expected to come out in a year. So there's obviously a shit ton of games out there. I think the problem that we're coming across, or at least I think so, as a person who beats 5 to 15 games per month, depending on the length of them. Last month I beat 10. Three of them were like 2 hour games. So just to give you an idea, I'm not doing all 45, 50, 60 hour, behemoths over here. But as somebody who eats that many, goes through that many games, um, it's very worrying to me. And I think what it comes down to is the industry is a little confused, right? Because they spent the last few years building these live service games that are kind of not phasing out, but it takes a lot more to become successful. People are being way more critical of them, and if things aren't just right when they come out, they don't make it. I mean, last year in 2023, we saw more that failed by a long shot than ones that did stick, with also coming out with games that are the classic games, right? The ones that we know as like the single player, narrative driven action adventure games. Developers have been making these games. Those types of games have generally pushed the business in the industry for such a long time. But with the way that the money is working out, these publishers and developers are really in a tough position, right? Like, do we keep making these 100 to 300 million dollar games where we sell one time and we gotta hope we sell 5, 6, 10 million copies in order to make a profit, and and do we do that, or do we gamble and come out with these live service games? So I think there's hesitance from publishers and developers right now, and I think that there's a lot of games being worked on that we don't know about.
Hmm.
But I think they're kind of scared to just be like, okay, we're gonna come out with this, or even give you a roadmap. So they're kind of focusing more on what we known about. I think they're focusing more on making those games as best as possible. And I'll use another example here: the Destiny DLC, the what's it called, the Final Shape. That game was supposed to come out in February, and it didn't. Bungie decided to hold off for more polish, and it came out yesterday. So I think that's the route a lot of the publishers and developers are taking, where instead of rushing a game out, I think that they're kind of peeling back a little bit, making sure their live service game or their online game is the best it can be before it gets put out there.
JP Local with the 5 said, if y'all don't buy Astrobot, I'm calling the Roos and the Emus to y'all's doorsteps.
I agree. I agree.
Please don't do that. Y'all's kangaroos scare the shit out of me. They can box and
And
shit. Like,
JP said that, and I
uh,
muted myself. I also want to say about that: how tough is it of a year? Well, Astrobot itself says it. Nothing against Astrobot, because the game looks phenomenal, looks amazing, so much bigger than the one we got with the PS5. But at the end of the game, it's a platformer. It's a freaking cartoon, or not cartoon, but what do you call those? A mascot. It's a mascot platformer game, and it was the last game of the state of play. Like, that speaks volumes, right? That speaks a lot of volumes. A game like that, normally, not that I can think of, has been the very last game of a showcase or a state of play. Is usually the first or somewhere in the middle. Now, with it being the size it is, I would have put it first for sure. But last, that's the best you have to offer. And once again, not trying to take anything away from Astrobot, because I'm pre-ordering it as soon as it becomes available. I'm buying the most expensive edition they have. I hope they come out with a collector's edition. And even if it doesn't have disc, I'm still gonna buy it and then buy a physical disc when it becomes available. So nothing away, not taking anything away from Astrobot, but that's where we're at. Where Astrobot was the headliner.
so that's yes, I agree that having Astrobot as the headliner is weird. But hearing that it's not just gonna be a tech demo, that it's like an actual full-blown game. I don't remember what the total was. What was it, like 8 different or 6 different galaxies, 80 different levels or something like that? Like, that's insane. That's a full pop, full price platformer from the word go. It's not just a 10-hour, 7-hour tech demo. Uh, it's actually its own game. So I'm kind of really excited about that. Like, it seems like they're trying to, since Sackboy kind of didn't take off like they were hoping. I think that they're trying to make this their mascot platformer, and like you said that, but now they're looking at this going, hey, if we build this bigger and better and deeper, maybe, then we can go ahead and charge more for it, and people are still excited, and it's not going to be a full price $70 game. So it's kind of
We know that.
yeah, it's going to be 60. Somebody
Well,
super chatted that
that's
earlier.
full price to me.
No, it's different because it's a PS5
I'll pay. I
only.
mean, I'll pay for Astrobot $100,
Right.
but 60 is that's full price. Come on.
JP Loco with the Australian Kangaroo 2s. He says Astrobot pre-orders go live tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. I
Oh, and something I just thought of as well before it leaves my mind. Uh, a full price game. This isn't the first time for Astrobot. I mean, Sure, the difference is it's VR, but we also got Astro Ball VR, which was a full game. It wasn't just a tech demo. So, I want to say it's the first time, but I think it's the first time, as a PlayStation, no VR kind of thing.
Wow. Huh. That's right, because there is no VR for this one, is there? Is there? Are they going to do a VR mode for it?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm just saying the last time Astro Ball came out, the quote unquote tech demo, which I don't think it was a tech demo. I think it was just a shorter game because it took me about 12 hours to platinum that game. Um, it just happens to have tech demo capabilities, but the last time was on the PS4 where Astro Ball came out for the PSVR.
Outside of the PS5 day one
Yeah.
game. Yeah. Quiet Doom, welcome in. Somebody else dropped in too, I thought. No VR. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, Byron Cutler said Astrobot is $60, Concord is 40. Um, so
Encore should
I
be free.
I don't have the brain power or the energy to cover that debacle right now. It's uh it's very interesting. All I can say is June is a very interesting month here in the United States, uh, and kind of all over the world now. So, anyways, with that, I this year started out phenomenal, right? Like it seems like this year is coming in with the biggest of bangs that there has been. I mean, we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we got Stellar Blade, we got Helldivers 2, we got Rise of the Ronin. Oh my God, what else did we get? There was a shit ton of stuff that released over the past 4 months. Uh,
Dragon's Dogma.
we got Dragon's Dogma 2, we got the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Uh, like, there's been a shit ton of stuff that's released in the first 5 months of the year. And now we're sitting here looking at the rest of the
Relink.
year. Oh yes, Grand Blue Fantasy. That game came out. Like there's been a lot. They've kept us well supplied for the first 5 months, and now because we've been eating really good. If y'all notice, we haven't really had a big huge break. We had from Spider-Man until Helldivers, but that's the longest break that we've had. Uh, I'm sorry, Spider-Man until I think Grand Blue came out before Helldivers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it did. January.
And so like we had a 2 month gap, 2.5. And so now we're sitting here looking at this going, well, okay, we got V Rising, which I'm super excited about. And like Will said, I'm not taking anything away from the games that I am actually still excited to play this year. Because there are still a few that I'm like, that's a day one game for me. Like, and so I don't want to take anything away from those, but it does kind of seem like this year is just kind of a everybody hold pattern, everybody reset, everybody just kind of chill, and we will pump out the games that have survived all of the resets over the next 2 years. And so I am,
Where's the blockbuster? Where's that
yeah,
big AAA blockbuster?
to finish out the year. Like I understand maybe not having 10 blockbusters in the year like we did last year. I get that, but we're usually good for at least one a quarter. And I'm not talking about like PlayStation exclusive. I'm talking about gaming as a whole. We're usually good for one major absolute smash hit per quarter. Uh, Usually always one in the holiday season, always one when kids go back to school, August September area, and then usually another one in May and one in February, March. Like we usually have four really good hits per year that come out and they break a record or they do something or they get close or they're big successes. And honestly, man, for the rest of the year, and this isn't doom and gloom. Uh, if
It
you
is
want
to
to
me.
if you want to hear doom and gloom, go check my views of PlayStation in December of 23. That was doom and gloom. So, Will, why is it doom and gloom for you? Because I don't see doom and gloom in this.
Are you kidding me? Like I was telling, But the state of play gave us, and I'm speaking from the PlayStation side, right? Third party will do third party, and third party, I'm sure, will come out with some other crap before the year ends. But it's doom and gloom for me with PlayStation because in the whole state of play, there was only three single player games, and two of them were VR, and one of them is a platformer. That's
Okay.
it. That's it. I'm a single player gamer. All the other stuff is additive. That's when I finish beating a game, I'm in limbo. Then I'll play a live service game. Like right now, I'm playing Destiny. Destiny has a campaign. Destiny has a story. So that's still in line with what I like more. I didn't see none of that from the state of play. From third party, we got Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid is supposed to come out this year. We still have no date. And knowing what these guys have been doing, just like we heard with the rumor with Silent Hill that it was already ready. Bloom, what's it, what they call it? Bloomer or Blooper, Blooper, the devs
Blooper
for
team.
Silent Hill, Blooper team. I think a few months ago they said, well, the game is basically ready, just kind of waiting on the publisher to see what they want to do. So I don't know how many of these games are going to get pushed back till 2025. And also, I think it was two or three of the games that we saw in the state of play were 2025 games. But where's Phantom Blade? Where is, there's so many games that we were hyped for last year that we have heard nothing of. Hopefully this changes this week with Jeff Keighley. But where are those single player narrative driven games? Just where are they? They seem to be missing in action. Now, I get that people are excited for these live service games that are coming up, and hey, good for you. There's live service gamers that are part of our community, and when I saw the state of play, in my mind, as much as I didn't like it, I was like, well, good for them. They're getting stuff that they're interested, that they're looking forward to, and that's cool with me. But me speaking personally of myself and gamers like me, huge disappointment.
Yeah, and that was the debate in the Discord over the state of play was, exactly what you just said. From your standpoint, from a personal standpoint, yeah, it didn't have a lot of stuff for you. And for me, I even mentioned in the Discord that I saw four games that I was really interested in, and then I found out more information about one of them, and I was like, okay, never mind. Now it's down to three. Uh, and so I do agree with what Nelson said though in the Discord. Which, by the way, next time you're off on a Wednesday night, Nelson, you are very much welcome to come back on here. Uh, but one of the things that he had said was that almost every game on there at some point in his PS5 life cycle, he's going to at least try each one of those. And I didn't go that far. I think that eventually I may try a couple of those, like Path of Exile. I might play that. I played the first one, and the second one looks really, really good. Uh,
Online only.
but
That
I
one.
yes, because and it's a I don't think they charge for Path of Exile. I think it's a free to play. Uh,
I think they're charging this time around though.
do you? I haven't heard that. So I know the first one was free to play. Um, I had a build that was like a poison build that would shoot shards out and like poison everybody around you. It was fantastic. But that was one of the games that I was looking at and that I played a little bit when I was looking for something to fill that gap after I played Diablo 3. And because I didn't have Diablo 2. And so that always happens to me after I play a Diablo game. I start playing a lot of games that look like Diablo. And just because I love that top-down action grindy thing, that's why I'm halfway through Diablo 2 or Diablo 4, and I'm already at like level 46. So I kind of over leveled myself too early. Um, but anyways, so you mentioned
Oh yeah,
that.
Poe 2.
Do what?
Poe 2.
I said
Path
it.
of Exile 2.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Path of Exile 2 is one of the ones that interest me, but you were really hard on the showcase from a personal standpoint. And which that's fine. You've mentioned it before. You're a selfish gamer. You only worry about your gaming experience, even though you can still see other people enjoying something. If it's not for you, then it's not for you, and you're not going to act like it is. That's totally fine. I was looking at the state of play in the sense of, you know what? I am probably the 15%. I hate a lot of live service games. I do not play a lot of live service games. Uh, and So because of that, I I saw it and was like, okay, there's not really much in here for me, but Sony has the chance with this state of play to at least have a couple of those games hit. I know people who are actually excited to play Concord. A couple of them are in our Discord. I'm not. It looks like a kind of a cheap ripoff of one-liners from Guardians of the Galaxy mixed with like every other hero shooter gameplay I've seen. Like every other that's the problem with games as a service to me is they all look identical. And so
Well,
go ahead.
no, finish your thought. I'll jump in after.
Oh, I was gonna say, and so when I see games like that, and I'm like, oh, cool, it's another hero shooter, yay, awesome. Or oh, cool, that looks like Overwatch. Or oh, hey, that looks kind of like that old game that screwed Anthem. Like they all kind of look like copies of the one that came before, and that works sometimes. But with as many people that are trying to go to this live service stuff or at least testing it out, like eventually they're gonna have to realize that hey, these games don't really scratch the itch because there's already something in that space that looks just like it that has had time to polish out their community's wants and needs and the
Content.
community the content, right? The community might not want to sit and wait for you to get your shit together and for you to actually deliver the game that they want. Maybe they will, but it's a huge freaking gamble. But I looked at that state of play and I was like, okay, state of play wasn't for me. There were a couple things I was interested in. I still think, especially after seeing how well a lot of those live service titles were received on X and were received even in our own Discord, like that really kind of confirmed it for me that okay, the state of play was probably, if you like that type of shit, probably a 7.5. For me, it was a 6.5, mainly because I have games that are on there that I'm going to be getting that I want to play. Uh, if it would have just been one game and that was it, nothing else interests me at all, I probably would have gone down to a 3 to a 5. Uh, because I also know that I'm, like I mentioned last week when Will brought it up, I am one of these guys that I don't veer too far from my lane. I like the few lanes that I have in gaming and I stay with those. So most of the time when I see a show or a showcase or a state of play or a dev direct or anything, I'm like, yeah, that really probably wasn't for me. That whole thing wasn't for me. But I could definitely see where some of those games are going to hit really well. And so that's my thoughts on. I think the gaming industry as a whole is just in a reset, and I think that it's going to be a slower year. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that some of these games, like Will had mentioned earlier, that some of these things end up coming out, and we get more information about them. Phantom Blade Zero would be an awesome, awesome game to know more information about because it looks freaking sick. Uh, but Will, what do you got? You were going to say something.
Yeah, three things. The first thing is, like you said, Thrifty, you stay to your lane. I don't.
No,
I
you don't.
play anything and everything. I've been accused of liking too many games, too many different types of genre. So that's the biggest thing that's tripping me out. Is somebody like me who found really no value in the state of play whatsoever, except maybe seeing the VR game, Behemoth game that I would like to play, and Astrobot. Besides those two games, there was really nothing there. Absolutely nothing. So somebody like me who has a wide palette thinks this way in combination with people who make fun of live service games, who've been talking crap about games like Overwatch and Destiny and all Fortnite, all these things. Now all of a sudden are the live service train. That's tripping me out. And finally, talking about numbers real quick. So these numbers will not be specific because I didn't write it down and I don't remember it, but you can go check it out yourself, and I'm gonna be within the range. Concord got 40,000 plus, I think it was like 44,000 plus dislikes to a couple thousand likes. an IGN video that basically shows the trailer with a little bit of commentary in there. Same thing. They got like 10,000 likes and like I'm sorry, dislikes and like 300 likes. So it's not just me saying this shit, it's a lot of people. And for the last 2 years, most live service games that have gotten that kind of reception where the like to dislike ratio was completely upside down like that, not one of them worked out. Not one single game worked out. Now, we may have people in our community that think Concord it looks decent or whatever, or they just interested in checking it out, or they have that's fine. But that sample size is extremely, extremely low. The last thing I want to say about that is I was playing with a buddy of mine today, and I brought up Concord, and he says, "Well, I already got Call of Duty and Destiny, so I don't need another one. It's too much time taken up. I mean, I might check it out, depending, but I already got these two. So Concord is not doing enough to take players away from these established live service games into their ecosystem, especially when the content isn't there, especially when you're asking for $40 on top of however much you got to pay for whatever other shit they have. Now, I will say that if they do a Hell Diver kind of situation where everything's extremely affordable, I don't want to say it's content rich, but it's consistent, then I give it a much better chance, but still not enough. I think Concord and what is this, Fire Sprite, the people that make them, I think that was Sony's biggest mistake. I think that was a terrible purchase, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass this year.
So dear God, I've been agreeing with you on that the entire freaking time. And then the game drops. Okay? Like this was baffling. So we're just going to kind of use this to kind of segue into Destiny 2. Destiny 2 broke freaking records. Like, and granted, I know Will, you pointed it out earlier in the pre-chat that we did, but like, I know that it was only by like a little bit, but they still freaking broke records. Like,
Hmm.
that's insane. I was so certain that the game was going to come out, or that the DLC was going to come out. It was going to flop, and then like within the next 2 or 3 days, we were going to hear that Sony has now put Bungie under PlayStation Studios and is dissolving half of it. Like I expected to hear that news here in a week or so, and then they come out and they're breaking records. And
I think the only reason it didn't happen, Thrifty, is because Bungie had a lot to lose this time. I think if it was just regular old, time and situation, it may have flopped. But because they had so much to lose, they really wanted to take this series serious and make it the best they possibly could. But that's the energy they should be having every single time, not just because they're on the chopping block. You know what I'm saying? That's the frustrating part. What about the last DLC? And the last one before that, well, the Wish Me was pretty decent from what the guys are saying, but still, that should be the mentality every time, guys. We have to show out. That should be the fucking energy, not oh well, Sony's really keeping. It's like the employee. Now you want to do work after you haven't been done shit, but now you got a sit down conversation saying that if you fuck up, you're gonna get fired. Now you want to step up? No, you should have been stepping up the whole time. Do your damn job. We are paying customers. The final shape is $50. I just spent 70 today. $50 on the final shape and 20 or $15 for the Aloy skin. Like
for the
when I pay
Aloy
that kind of
skin.
money, yeah, I did. I had to. Not because I love Bungie, but because I love Aloy. But like $70. Like I just bought a full game, but I didn't buy a full game. So I expect shit to work properly. I expect for you to put your full fucking effort. Because in order for me to make that $70, how many hours of work do I have to put in? How many hours
Mm.
am I missing out with my family? What other things could I have bought that were more important? But because I have faith in you that you're gonna provide the customer service, the care, the experience, I saw the value in it and I jumped in. But how many times have you felt this before? This is completely unacceptable. That's why I don't feel bad for these fucking people. Oh, we laid off 1,000. Well, you should have done fucking better. Yeah,
Mm.
it was the CEO's fault. I get that. But look, if we all come together, shit tends to happen. When there's 40,000 dislikes and 5,000 likes, that's a fucking problem. And the thing that's worrying about this is I just saw on I forgot the article. I'm gonna look it up and follow me on X later.
Was it the one you sent me?
Basically, was it about the email that got sent out and they were saying it's white noise? That one?
No, it was the one about Gay Station.
Oh no. Well, that, but so basically with Concord and Firesprite, that's Firesprite, right? Not Firewalk.
I don't
Um,
remember.
well, them, whoever made Concord, they're a new company, right? They're a lot of the upper management are ex Bungie guys. Anyways, there's an internal email that leaked or has been reported on. Not sure if it leaked, but it's been circling since yesterday, basically talking about the noise, that's what they called it, the white noise coming from the community to ignore it. The last time we heard a developer, publisher say these words was with Saints Row.
Mm.
That's the last time that happened. When they said, you know what, guys are just hating because they want to hate. It's white noise, ignore them. We're telling them what we don't like, and they're choosing on purpose to ignore that. Secondly, they have also internal documents or rumors have been going around that they are more worried about diversity and making sure characters look a certain way to appease certain people, whether true or not. But when you combined a couple of these things that I just mentioned with what we saw with the live service aspect, with what they're charging, with the live service history in the last couple of years, with the success and the failures, just like with Xbox Game Pass, you don't need to see their accountant and have an interview with him to know that Game Pass is failing, right? We don't need him to know that Xbox is not selling and they're trying to figure out how to keep it afloat. I cannot fathom why the hell guys that shit on live service games don't play them. All of a sudden, I'm like, yep, I'm in there. I saw 10 games out of the 15 I want to play. What the fuck? But Will's the crazy one. Will is the one that, oh, it's not single. Will, once again, Will is the same person you guys have accused of liking too much shit, of playing too many genres. That's all I'm saying.
So, and I think the problem is you took us, uh, you took all of us saying that the show wasn't that bad and it was meant for
But it
somebody,
was bad. That's the thing. It
and you
was
took
bad.
that as us defending those games, and that's
No, no,
where
I'm
the
not. I don't think you're defending the games. I don't think that at all. I'm just because the thing that I'm disappointed is that honestly, it's not being attacked as much as I am, because the reason it upsets me. Normally, I wouldn't be upset about this because I'm the type you do your thing, right? But because this is affecting us as gamers as a whole, I bring this up as us being the bots of the current generation. Xbox had the same opportunity the players did to speak out against this shit back in 2016, 17, 18, and they never did. They never did. Oh, the 360 was great. Phil came in and he got rid of the Connect bundle, and now it's optional. He brought the price down. He came up with Game Pass. So we justified, or the bots justified, all the wrong moves because they did a couple good moves. And I don't want us to be in the same situation where Sony has a ton of goodwill, which they deserve because they've been doing incredible work this generation, and excuse the bullshit that they provided for us last week with the state of play, which 90% of those games are third party anyway. 90% of those games you'll be able to play on PC and Xbox and Switch anyways. Why are we putting it up on a pedestal? This, and I'm not, once again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't like anything. Of course you should. Like I mentioned, the guys that we have that been looking forward to Concord. There's nothing wrong with that. You should. I'm excited for Astrobot and the Behemoth game. I know that a lot of you guys don't even care about VR. We all have different tastes. That's not the problem. The problem is the overall state of play. That's the problem. Where 90%, more than 90%, were online only live service games, and all of a sudden everybody goes blind and doesn't want to say anything. Not blind, but they they they're mute and won't speak up about it and are actually applauding the shit. If you think this was a decent state of play, then give it a 5 or a 6. That's average. Guys are giving it a 7 and an 8. Hello, that's above average. This was not an above average state of play. This was an average state of play at best, and that's me giving you the state of the benefit of the doubt because you may like a game like Concord and Where the Wind Blows or whatever the game is called, where I personally gave it a 3 and a 4. So maybe I'm in the extreme where I'm giving it too low, but based on what I know of the community, I game with you guys, I chat with you guys all the time. A lot of us agree with a lot of the things that PlayStation does. We disagree a lot on the same shit that PlayStation does too. For some
Yeah, we do.
reason, this state of play, everybody or not a big portion of people, and I'm not just speaking about this Discord, right? I'm talking about social media in general because Discord has a variety of opinions on this subject. But for some reason, the consensus is that this state of play was good and they're rating it sevens. That's the number that
Mm.
keeps popping up. 6.5, 7, 7.5. I just cannot understand why after everything I just said. So if there's something that I'm missing or not see it, I am willing to evolve and grow and take new perspectives. Please put it down on the chat or translate it to me on Discord or X or even PlayStation.
So I got two super chats real quick.
Sorry for the rant.
No, you're fine. Two super chats. One is from JP Loco. Actually, they're both from JP. Australian 5. I wonder if the hate for Concord or Helldivers 2 success is the reason Concord is $40. Honestly, with the way that PlayStation is kind of non-responding, like Will talked about earlier, to all the quote-unquote white noise surrounding Concord, I have to
Fire Sprite,
say,
not PlayStation.
or sorry, Fire Sprite. I'd have to say it's because it's of the success of Helldivers. Like they think they found a price point where people will jump
Yes.
into these live service games and be willing to give up the money for it. And also, if you look at a game, like people have said, Helldivers is super fun, it's awesome, and it's amazing, but it's good at doing its thing, and that's it. And so like it doesn't do anything else except what it wants to do, right? It comes in, it wants to be a co-op shooter where you go through, you kill things, you get new god dang super credits, and you get stratagems, and then you go blow stuff up, and you repeat that cycle. That's all it wants to do, and it does it. And it doesn't
Great
look
answer.
right. Like it's amazing. So I think that that's why they are going to do Concord at 40 is because PlayStation thinks that they found that sweet spot where people will pay for a live service game. I'm not every game is Helldivers 2, and not every game already had the cult following that Helldivers 2 had. So it'll be very interesting to see if it falls flat on its face.
And to follow up on that too, and great answer, Thrifty. I agree with Abs, man. That was perfect. And something else I want to add on to that with Helldivers, I can't not think of not one person, right? But when we all saw Helldivers, we can tell it was going to be a good game. All the other shit came after we played it, but we could already tell just the quality, the theme, the how the vibe, the jokiness of the characters, the whole patriotic thing, the it just we all saw that and we were like, okay, and then Bugs and Starship Trooper, okay, like, and then we saw the gameplay, we could already tell, right? There was I didn't see personally of anybody. There may have been, but I didn't see anybody personally that was like, I don't know, the graphics are kind of weird or the gunplay scene's off. Like I didn't hear none of that shit. Like we could all already tell it was going to be at least at a bare minimum a decent game. The rest was going to be how the live service was going to be set up and how much shit was going to cost and the content and like just all the other additional shit that you don't till the game is out, right? That wasn't a case with Concord. With Concord, it was like, okay, now we have Overwatch, comparisons. Okay, the 7 minute freaking, movie they showed us. Okay, the some of the shit in there does look fun, right? But then they bring up a little bit of a negative shit to kind of bring that good shit they saw down a little bit. That's the
Oh,
difference between this and Helldivers.
okay. So I'm gonna read this other super chat real quick, and then I want to get to something Nelson said as well. JP Loco with the Australian 10. Remember, Overwatch 2 lost so many players, specifically Chinese players, because some of the controversy, or because of some controversy. Maybe Sony banking on Chinese players to pick up Concord to spite Overwatch 2 and ABK. JP, that is not an angle I thought of, but that's not a bad angle. Um, that's I want to see how that plays out, but Blizzard did piss off China really, really bad with Diablo Immortal and all that shit. They are now, I think they're back in contract with another company, but they were with NetEase, if I'm not mistaken. And NetEase, like, they were like, hey, we have to change this. Y'all have been screwing us for years, and we don't want to let that happen anymore. And Blizzard said no, and they said no, and then Blizzard was like, "Well, we'll come back," and they said no. You've screwed that up already. And
Who
Josh,
is NetEase?
mobile. So the way it works is Blizzard cannot distribute its own game in China on the mobile market, and I think on any market really. I could be wrong in that. I know mobile market they can't, so you have to go through a Chinese publisher to do so. So NetEase is a Chinese mobile publisher.
Okay.
And so they had a deal where they kind of like what they have to do with the cloud service, what Xbox had to do with the cloud service in Europe. They had to give it
Okay.
over to Ubisoft uh, because they weren't allowed to own that portion. China's ruling is a little different. It's not that they're not allowed to own it; it's that China has to get money. The whatever it's called, the CNP has to get essentially a cut or a portion of every single dollar of every single thing, product, or whatever that is sold, and
Like a tariff.
yeah, but they don't they don't do it necessarily like that. They do it in every company is essentially owned, if I'm not mistaken. Josh, I know you're probably typing and your fingers are on fire right now, but if I'm not mistaken, they actually own like a portion of the companies. So they don't get the secondary like tax or anything. They get the initial first cut of profits. And so Blizzard lost that deal because Blizzard tried to play hardball with them and NetEase said, "Yeah, F off." And so all of that has actually been pretty interesting to watch. So that's a really damn good take. And Nelson said, where is it? Did I lose it? Oh, Helldivers 2 set its own market through Concord, or though Concord is going into a flooded market, it has to stand out. Absolutely. I think that that is 100% accurate. Uh, and then Josh said you need to be on China to distribute in China. Yep. And he also said, yes, the Chinese government owns most things in China. That's what I thought. And so that's the whole thing with TikTok. Like they have to have it, they have to sell a portion of it or sell all of it to a subsidiary and do some other bullshit, and it's fine. Um, but like that is a very, very interesting like thing to
Hey,
think
Thrifty,
about. Yeah,
take over for 5 minutes real quick.
yeah, you're good. You're good. It sounded like you just threw up. Join and you get to use emojis like me. Yes. Guys, I am working on some more thanks to the heavy hitters in here and the people who have been so consistent and those who have signed up. We are going to get some more emojis. I got to figure out exactly what I want to do. I think I'm going to do one with an owl on it. That says who because we always wonder who asked for certain things. And so, like, gaming companies oftentimes give gamers shit that we didn't ask for. And so we're always like, who? Who the hell asked for this? Who? And so I think I'm going to do one with an owl on it. And then I don't know what the other ones are going to be. But anyways, we are going to get some more. So Destiny 2 Final Shape also had some terrible server issues day one. But like I said, it broke records on PC. I wonder, I wonder if it broke records on PlayStation and on Xbox. I because here's the deal. If it did break those records and it did set record numbers, then going into this, you got to think that the company had to be sitting here reading the press and going, you know what? It's probably not going to be that big. I'm sure PlayStation and Sony didn't think it was going to be that big. And so, like, when they come out and they're setting records, it makes sense why the servers got overloaded. They probably weren't prepared for that. Crazy enough, they weren't prepared for that. This is twice now that a company has undervalued the multiplayer space. And so on one end, you look at games and you go, these are going to flop, these are dumb, these are stupid, these are this, these are their time wasters, their time sinks, they're all of this, their wallet sinks, all they want is your money, blah blah blah. But like when you look at it and you're in the position of actually like kind of pulling back the initial gripe that we have as gamers, like they probably weren't ready for it. They probably thought, you know what, this game, social media, all of our metrics are telling us that people are not really into this. They're already thinking it's going to suck, and so it's not going to be that good. We're probably okay with the server space. We're going to get a big slam, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. We should be fine. And then it comes out and breaks records, and then their servers go, oh shit. Whoops. And now they're fixed. Servers are running fine, everything's going great, and it's fine. But initially, even I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Another live service? And then they came out and said, hey guys, we're sorry, blah, 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 we're working on it. And then the joke became, hey guys, well, it looks like they're learning too now. Like, that's insane. Oh, snap. Stephen Leon, I haven't seen you here at all tonight. I'm liking it after they fix the server issue. I haven't seen you in here at all, and you come in and you drop 10 gifted members. Quiet Doom, Amadeus Morant, awesome name. True King Gaming, Muhammad Lal, Leonard Herrera, Captain America. Hey Cap, what's up? Freddie Rudy, Matty Beast, what's going on, man? Sky Dragon Lord, guys, hey, your 1 month donation. That's funny. Guys, if you got a gifted member from Steven, or if you got one earlier from RPG or one last week, seriously, thank these guys. They've done way more than I've ever asked or expected. Um, which is also, funny enough, what Destiny 2 did. It did way more than they expected. Way more. Like, and so I can understand a bit of a growing pains. Like I can literally look at it and go, okay, pulling my disdain for games that are coming out that are live service and then they can't even get the server issue right, taking that disdain away, looking at it looking at it objectively, I can literally sit there and go, okay, it makes sense why they had an issue. Also, they didn't take 3 weeks to fix it. So I respect them for that because this isn't their first rodeo. This probably isn't their first time having server issues, and they're like, okay, cool, we know how to fix this. Um, Byron Cutler in the Spider-Man 2 DLC, the main character is going to be, huh? Hang on, I can't read that. The main character is going to be going through adversity. Probably. I actually hope. I love the story, taking my time on it. That's awesome, guys. Hey, listen, I am happy that a lot of y'all are enjoying it. I don't like live service games, but one thing that being in this community has helped me with is at least learn that there are people who appreciate them. And so instead of yucking somebody's yum, I'm just like, you know what, that game's not for me. And I think, circling back a little bit, I think that's where my kind of non-criticalness of the PlayStation State of Play comes in. Like, yeah, there wasn't a lot in it for me at all. Like, 3 games is not a lot. 3 games isn't bad. Like, I don't buy a ton of games brand new anyways, so 3 games isn't terrible. But looking at it from the perspective of how many gamers actually play these live service titles and love them and are willing to give any of them a shot, like I think Sony did the right thing for a state of play. If this would have been a showcase and all we got was live service games, third party games, second party games, and only uh, one PlayStation Studios PS5 exclusive, yeah, I would look at this and go, it was crap, and I would have been all over Twitter, I would have been all over YouTube same day, and it just wasn't. That's what I like. 3 out of 14 games is actually really good, especially for somebody like me who stays in their own lanes. Like, and it's an FPS, so anti-thrifty. Exactly. To each their own. Hate COD, but my son likes it, dude. I hate COD too. I can't stand it, mainly because children play it. Uh, that's what bothers me about it the most. I can play it long enough to get halfway decent, as at least what I've been told. I carry a 1-to-1 KD. Uh, After I get my sea legs back in me, I can bring myself up to a 1-to-1. And one of the guys in the Discord was like, "That's actually not terrible. That's not bad. 1-to-1 is actually pretty decent." So I've played COD. I loved Black Ops 3. Absolutely loved it. The sky ship, where like you're in this floating ship in the sky and one of the holes has been kind of blown out, and it's such a confined map and it's so fun. It's one of the There is a good sniper spot on there, but it's one of the maps that's more anti-camp sniper people. Uh, and so I loved that game. I also loved Nuketown 3. That was fun. But I loved old Call of Duties. I really did. I used to play the story, play the campaign, play zombies. I did it all. Like the one where you're John F. Kennedy, I think, in it. And you're Kennedy, Reagan, and like you're the presidents. And you have to uh, you're defending it against zombies and doing all that. Like Ghost was an you were RPG 88. You were the only person besides me that I've heard have that opinion. I loved Call of Duty Ghost, especially towards the end where the missions get more cerebral in nature. Oh, it was so good. Um, but no, I'm actually baffled and floored, and I was totally wrong about Destiny 2 tanking. I thought it was going to be the end of Bungie. And I am sure the people at Bungie today are breathing a little bit easier than they were a couple days ago. Like, I'm not even kidding. With the axes and hammers that have been coming out, it would only make sense for them to go down, 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 down. And instead, they did what the running back does in a contract year. They came out and said, "Hey, we need to impress again. We need to show that we're worth it again." And they did so. So that's good. I think Death Stranding 2 and Fair Games will be shown at SGF. Death Stranding 2 for sure. Fair Games for sure. I'm kind of hoping secretly that Fair Games gets canceled, but that's just me. Uh, I don't think that game, I don't think Payday 7 is going to be received near as well as they think it will. But then again, hey, guess what? I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I was wrong about Destiny 2. So, really, when it comes to live service games, what the hell do I know? Like, I don't know shit when it comes to live service games, apparently, because I was dead wrong about Destiny 2. I never thought that it would do that. Uh, So, Josh, the one reason I like Fair Games is that it's co-op instead of PvP. I like games like that. We need to play Payday. We should play Payday. I think I have number 3. It was free on the PlayStation Plus, I believe, or was that 2? I don't know. I have 1 through PlayStation Plus Essential. JP Loco Hip Hop Gamer told me Fair Games is Sony's Battlefield. Which Battlefield? is it 2042? Is it which Battlefield is it? Let me see. Hang on. Let me make sure that Will has not tried to contact me through
What?
other means.
Oh, you need me?
No, I just didn't know you were back yet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I kind of wrapped up the same thoughts that I told you on Destiny 2 earlier. Uh, do you have anything else to say on Final Shape?
Seems to be a pretty good DLC so far. The server situation yesterday sucked. People say, well, it's expected. Nope. The only time that I can give an excuse, or not excuse, but understand, was Helldivers. Just because the amount of gamers was ridiculous. I mean, it beat out the best games in the world, right? That from for such a small studio. I mean, 100 employees, like that's we're talking about over 1,000 with Destiny, or at least 800. 9-day difference. Destiny is used to having hundreds of thousands of players monthly, so I don't excuse them for it.
Even though it broke
Neither,
records on the PlayStation and
nope,
on Steam?
nope, because they didn't break records like they did double. No, they did like 10% more.
Okay.
So no, I do not excuse it. If they would have done double, then I would have seen it just like I saw Helldivers. But because it was 5-10% more, no, get out of here. That's room for error. You should have noted that, especially when you're making that kind of money. Like I said, just today on the DLC and the skin, I paid $70 just on a skin and a DLC. $70. That no, these guys are professionals. They've been doing this. This isn't the first rodeo. They should have known.
Oh, hey,
And that's all I
listen.
got to say about that.
Hey, I can't argue with that logic either. I can't. Like it's I I think there's a place for both sides of that argument, and both sides I think are drawn based off of logical conclusions. So I don't think that unless we were actually in the studio, we don't know what happened. But I'm yeah. So let's get on to our final topic of the night, and this is the first time it's actually lined up with the last about 10 minutes of the show, so I'm kind of happy with that because this is actually what I've tried to do forever, and it's finally worked. So PS Plus Essential, let's get into those games because they are actually really good this month. Um, and I own one of them already. I have wanted to get the other one on sale, and now I get it through a sub service, which I'm kind of happy about. So here we go. It is. Let me go over here. Let me get this up. Let me do this. All right. So for those who don't know, here is the lineup. It is SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake, AEW Fight Forever, and Streets of Rage 4. Also, you can for the next I think week still get FC24 uh, as part of the subservice as well, which FC24 was a $70 game. Uh, Interesting. So, Streets of Rage 4 is phenomenal. You can see this is a gameplay screenshot right here, and the graphics look awesome. It does look like they took the game, polished it up, gave it smoother graphics, wonderful gameplay, a stable frame rate, and the game's phenomenal. Absolutely a stellar get for this subservice because it is a game that has a shit ton of replayability and there's so many characters and they all play different. Somebody in the Discord pointed out that like not every character can dash across the screen. which is kind of cool because it do you want speed or do you want power? Well, if you're power, you're not going to move that fast. If you want speed, obviously you're going to move fast. And so I loved the Streets of Rage games, and Streets of Rage 4 is absolutely fantastic. It was done by Emu. Those are the same guys who did Shredder's Revenge. They actually did this game before they did Shredder's Revenge, and so they had already had success with this, and they've kind of found their niche in taking these old IPs and bringing them to modern audiences. So I absolutely, absolutely recommend Streets of Rage 4. AEW Fight Forever is the game that I have been eyeballing because I love AEW. Haven't watched it in a while because, well, I haven't watched wrestling in a while, to be honest. And but it still has a lot of iconic characters that I want to fight as, play as, and I can't wait to see what it handles like. Everybody said it's like the old school N64 style of games, and I absolutely loved those. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, Monday Night Nitro, like all of them were so. Actually, I think Monday Night Nitro was on the Super Nintendo. No, it wouldn't have been that old. It was on the 64. Yeah, Nitro was the 64. And all of those games were so fun. It just added to my fandom as a kid. And a lot of the characters in here, I get to play as Sting. I'm going to get to play as the Hardy Boys. And so I absolutely cannot wait for that. And then SpongeBob SquarePants. Listen, SpongeBob is one of the biggest kids IPs out there. So obviously that's not for me necessarily, but if you like SpongeBob, you have another game for free, and we just got Bikini Bottom, I think, last year. So you kind of got the whole slate of SpongeBob games now. Will, what do you think? I have ranted and raved about this list now for 4 minutes. What do you think about the list that we got?
The list is good. Well, something that I haven't brought up before that I would like to bring up now, especially with the conversation of PS Plus, the monthly games, because some months people say that it's good, at the same time saying it's bad, and vice versa. I think the question we should all be asking yourself is, for PS Plus, what matters most is, do you want games in there that are good games, or do you want games in there that are worth X amount of dollars to make your PS Plus subscription feel worth it, right? Because if, to me, this month, as far as good games that I would like to play, it's a shit month. I'm disappointed. When I see it as, is the value there? Games that I would have to pay my hard-earned money, it's a great month, right? So I think that's the question that we should all be asking ourselves: is which one is more important to you, or maybe a combination of both. For me, this is a shit month. I'm disappointed. I own the wrestling, the 2K, whatever. Only reason I got it is because I paid like $7 for it. But wrestling is not my thing. I might check it out just because it's available. I'm actually more interested in the SpongeBob, but I just bought. Which SpongeBob game is it? Is it the Battle for Bikini Bottom?
No, it's Cosmic Shake.
Oh, Cosmic Shake. Yeah, because I was like, damn, I just bought a SpongeBob game. I actually bought the collector's edition for 40
That's right, you
bucks
got
on
it
a
for 40
sale
bucks.
on Best Buy. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, I'm actually more interested in the SpongeBob game. I'll be able to play that with my kid. More than the A and AEW wrestling. The thing that I remember about the AEW wrestling is when it came out last year, I think it was, where the Xbox were like, if it's not on Game Pass, I ain't playing it, and I was like, all right, whatever, you losers. And then Streets of Rage is actually the second one that I'm interested in. And not interested in as that I'm looking forward to playing it, but I am gonna check it out just because I know that Nelson and you, Thrifty, like this game and have been talking about it a lot. So based on you guys being my friends is why my excitement level is the way that it is. But to me, it's a shit month. None of these games I would play out of my own like whatever, my own ambition to play them, but I will check them out just because they are available and you guys have spoken highly of one of them.
Yeah, the so Streets of Rage 4, I actually had fallen down a rabbit hole when I was playing Fist, because Fist kind of has that old school vibe and feel to it, because it's a Metroidvania, and most of them have that old school like retro kind of feel to them, at least in my opinion. There's not a lot of them that look brand new or anything like. They don't look like a God of War Ragnarok, right? They just don't. That's not the market for those games, and so they don't look like that. They look very cartoony. Then that always brings me back to like the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation 1, and those eras. And so Streets of Rage 4 was actually a game that I had gotten on sale for $15 back around the time that Fist was out, because I saw it and I was like, oh man, I used to love Streets of Rage 4. And I played the shit out of it. Still can't get past like the third level, whichever one. Nelson probably knows the level. It's the one where like you have to go up a ladder and over, and you're walking over scaffolding. And as you're walking over the scaffolding, you can actually fall, and every time you fall, you lose your health. So I wasn't getting hit a lot, but I was getting killed because I kept falling. And so you fell on whose fist? Be quiet, Josh. That's, y'all, y'all gotta stop. Y'all been screwing with me all night. That's not nice. Um, but no, and I think you're right. I think part of the so the way I view PlayStation Plus Essential, this does not go for all the rest of the tiers, but the way I view Essential has always been kind of a combination of both. Is it is it a game that is relatively still expensive, so 20, 30, $40? I know that 20 isn't really expensive, but sometimes you can find a really great game that's been out for a few years that's $20. And if we get that and it was a game that I missed or whatnot, then I'm super happy because my $7 or $8 or whatever it is just got me a $20 game. Or like AEW Fight Forever, the lowest I've seen it is $30. So that's a $30 game, right? That's the lowest I've seen it. I think there was a sale on it, like one of those Walmart things that Wario puts out, where it was at like $20, but that only lasted like a day. Uh, but games like that, or then even seeing that FC, which is a $70 game, is just included in your essential subscription, like that kind of stuff does show value. It might not be value for me, but it does show value. And I think one of the things that PlayStation usually does, there are some months where I don't think they do this very well. They give a little bit of something for everybody. And so I think that this month kind of highlights that. You have kind of an old school side scroll beat 'em up, you got a little wrestling fighting game, and you got a little kids game. And so I think that with the with what the service is, there are months that are not good for me. Like the month that we got NBA 2K24 was the big one. I'm like, yeah, that sucks. That's not a thing for me. That doesn't do it for me. Whatever. Doesn't change the fact that the game was still selling for $50 on sale, even physically. Like, it's still a good get. It's still a heavily, highly played game. It's just not for me. I don't play a lot of sports games anymore because all of them have ridiculous and predatory microtransactions in them that are nuts. And so I don't usually play a lot of them. And so when I look at this month, I'm like, man, they hit it on the head. I already have one of the games. I was planning on buying another one on sale, but now I'm going to be able to try it out for free. And if I like it, then I can go get the physical copy. And I think that's kind of the way I look at it. So I guess I'm kind of a combination of both, like you had said, where if it's a game that I've never played before but does interest me, cool. But also seeing the value proposition sometimes of it is nice. Like being able to look back on a year and go, you know what, you paid, what is it, $80 a year for it, and you ended up getting $900 in value or $800 in value of games or whatnot. Like that to me is where the value proposition of it comes in. Now, the counter to that though is, well, those games they were $10 or $5 or none of those games were ones that I really wanted to play. That's cool. I get that. But the fact is, they still gave $900 worth of games for $80. And so that's where I'm at on it. I think that's kind of cool. What is going on in the chat? Thrifty got fist. Stop it. Stop. That's not okay. Thrifty has questionable kinks. Lord Jesus, guys, what did y'all do to the chat? Y'all see what you did, Josh? All you had to do was just drop that little morsel in there, and the piranhas are out. Oh man. Okay. Will, do you have anything else that you wanna talk about closing? I think we've hit every topic for the first time in weeks. And so, do you have anything that you want to add?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys like to say that because I am playing Destiny that I'm a hypocrite because it's a live service game and online and all that stuff, online only. And that I play online games, but yet I shit on these other online, my because I like physical and just all that crap. Well, first off with Destiny, just like Helldivers, these games are PvE. That's the first thing. I like playing against NPCs. I do not like playing against other players. I suck too much. I don't have the time to put into it to get good. And PvE is just easier for me. Secondly, there is a story behind Destiny. I only play the campaign. If I have a friend that's willing to jump in and play with me, then we can play a dungeon or something like that I don't normally play, which I don't even know how to get started. And I will also play a non-live service or a live service game, any other, with a friend. You invite me, I'll check it out. I'll play with you. I've always said that watching paint dry can be fun as long as it's with friends. I'm not against buying online only games. I have a lot of them, and I will continue to buy some of them. Now, for them, when I do buy these games, I see it as putting money in like a donation box or putting money at the casino or putting money to go see a movie at the movie theater. These are games that I don't feel entitled to ownership. These are just games that there's a fee to access for X amount of time, and eventually you will not be able to play that game away anymore. So in my mind, I know that I don't own it. I'm only paying to play for now, and it's gone. It is a difference from buying a physical copy of a game that promises ownership and then later they change something with it or they stop you from playing it or if your internet goes down you can't play it anymore. So there is a distinct distinction between the two types of games. Concord, I will play it eventually. I will play it just to see what it's like. And who knows, I might end up liking it, right? I don't see myself liking it because I don't play PvE games, and Concord I think is a 6v6
Yep.
PvE game. And the one thing that I do like about Concord is one of the things that people really dislike about it, and that is every week they're gonna come out with some sort of cutscene or some sort of story element to it. I actually think that's really cool, and that's actually the one thing that's keeping me excited. Like, oh, so you mean I can level up my character throughout the week, and then I get a story element to it to keep me going? That I dig. And early in this podcast, I brought up the 7 minute of CGI-ness. Secret for you guys. I actually like those. I like those a lot. The problem comes into play when they don't show any gameplay. Concord, I like what they did. They gave us 7 minutes and then about 6, 7 more minutes of gameplay with some developer talking in the background, kind of explaining things. I am a story heavy person. If there was a way where you can put stories more than just a cutscene per week or more than just, the little things they do now, I would probably be more invested in live service games. But unfortunately, they don't.
Mm.
The other thing is, if I did get into a live service game or I do invest some time in it, it still stands that I don't see myself as the owner of that game. The price of admission is nothing but a skin to me. It's nothing but a DLC to me. It's nothing but a online thing that a loot box. That's what it feels like. So I just want to get that out the way because two, one and the other are not mutually exclusive. We're gamers, and if a game is good, I'm not going to not play it just because I don't fuck with live service games. Now, to give you guys another quick example, I know Thrifty's trying to get out of here, so am I, is the Star Wars game that's coming out later this year by Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, right? Where online internet connection required. Now, these games I will not be purchasing. Main reason I am not purchasing them, and by purchasing, I mean going to the store, handing them my money, I take a copy home. Doesn't mean that I won't walk into GameStop, find a used copy, and purchase it that way. It's because more of what Ubisoft said. Get used to not owning your games. That is the big reason why I don't want to buy these games. It's because of what the CEO said. And on top of that, it's full price, the $70. Now, if you're giving me a game that's online requirement, but it's selling for $40, heck, maybe even $50, I might bite because it's at a price that I can justify buying. But just so you guys know, I played Diablo. I bought Diablo, I think like month one. I've been telling Thrifty about it for since then. That's how me and Warwana actually. That was the first game we played together. That was the first game that actually introduced me to him. Before that, I just kind of saw him on the Discord here and there. But it wasn't until he came in. We played for 20, 30 minutes. We talked a little bit. We became friends. And that's the biggest positive about live service games. And that's the biggest thing that I wish we can get with single player narrative driven games. My ideal game would be a game kind of like, I don't know, Metro, right? Because I've been playing that, or Horizon, or God of War, or any of these games. If they had a co op campaign option, that would be ideal for me because I would like to play the game by myself, take it all in, turn the lights off, put the 4K on, put the graphics mode on, take it all in, and then experiencing it the same way with a buddy, with Wara, with Thrifty, with RPG, with Nelson, with Henry, Josh, and the list goes on and on and on, right? That would be an ideal game for me, but without being forced to. Give me the option to do that, right? Don't say, well, you need to be connected online all the time. Because there have been instances where the power goes out. Right now it's springtime, a lot of thundering, a lot of raining. The power has gone out of my house. I have a generator. Some of these games I'm not able to play. So it's not just a principle thing, it's an actual can I do it thing too. And I have my generator running. I know the power will be back in a few hours, but during that time, everything's dead, right? So I can't really do much, but I do have my console. I do have some of my games. And that's it. I don't hate live service games just to hate them. I dislike them because it affects me personally. in a couple of the ways that I just explained to you. But they can fix some of these things by giving us a little bit more. And that's all I want from these developers. A few months ago, maybe even last year, we talked about how increasing the price of video games. Nobody wants to pay more, right? But I so much love this medium that we all use to entertain ourselves that if Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch says, "Hey, the Ghost of Tsushima, the next one is going to cost $100, but this is what you're going to get," I would pay that because I think that these developers are very talented and they try to give the gamers what they want, right? Maybe not for Naughty Dog's sake. They actually know that it's going to be controversial and they still do it anyways. But in generally speaking, I want to support them. I want to endorse them because the more that we do, the more games that come out, the more games we get to play. But the problem is that that straight up flaming passion is not there. It's still a business overall. Now, yes, the developers might want to do the best job possible they can for us gamers, but management is always going to look out for the company first and how much money they can make first. And if that means taking shortcuts, putting these crazy microtransactions in there, and giving us a lesser product, which is what we tend to get with these kind of games, is why I dislike them so much. It's because they water down the art that we so like. And I get it, man. Like Henry tells me all the time, Will, there's no better thrill than for you to be playing Call of Duty or he's been playing X Defiant lately. Whereas you and one other dude, who's best, who's gonna get that kill shot, that competitiveness. I get that and I appreciate that. And that is an art in itself, right? Outmaneuvering the other guy, outthinking him. Should I flank this way? Should I jump up at this time? Should I do this? Should I do that? I get that, and I appreciate that as well. Just like the guys that play Elden Ring or Wanna, I understand the tactics, the getting your ass beat, getting back up over and over and over again, and you finally got them in your crosshairs, and you finally pull that blowing move that you win the match. I get that adrenaline rush, and that's an art form too. But of course, at the end of the day, I'm a selfish gamer, as you should be too. And as much as I advocate for single player narrative driven games, you as well should be advocating for Souls likes. You too should be advocating for online games. You too should be advocating for the Call of Duties.
In the
So just keep that in mind.
arms of an angel. For the low,
Yes.
low price of $60 a month, you too can have every skin in every game and play with your friends dressed up like Aloy.
Well, in Bungie's case, it's more like freaking $1,000 a month to get all this ridiculous, bro.
No,
Oh,
I'm
and
just
not
messing
just
with you.
that. Not only do they charge you an arm and if he's here, I know he's bed early, but if RPG's here, dude, it took me and RPG. I bought the Aloy, he bought the Ghost of Tsushima skin. Between me and him, it took us, no bullshit, 15 minutes of Googling shit, of just trying to figure out how to actually equip the skins. Not bullshitting you, and mind you, RPG, he's kind of seasoned in Destiny, so he kind of knows what he's doing way more than me, of course. He's the one who taught me basically everything yesterday, which motivated me to create a new character and start over. But even him, it took us 20 minutes to figure that out. So not only is Bungie saying, hey, give us your top hard earned money, but we're also going to make this more difficult as well. Oh, I was so pissed. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Please hit that like, subscribe button. Also join the the
Discord?
membership program.
Discord?
Join the Discord as well. I know Thrifty's working on more content for you guys, and let's support him, man. He
I
works
am.
very hard to put this show together every week and his other videos, and he's passionate about it. And let's just like how we support our developers for putting in the work that we know they're doing and put out a product. Let's support Thrifty, and we have been supporting him. He's got his PC. Look at the show layout, how it is. It looks way better, more professional. It's all thanks to you guys. You guys retweeting, resharing, all that stuff. So we really do appreciate it. And please, let's keep doing this. Let's keep making this thing bigger. Let's keep getting bigger and better guests in here. Let's keep talking about more games, more topics. That's what it's all about, guys. And add me, Will 777JP on PlayStation Network. Send me a message. Say, hey, Will, have you tried the service game yet? Let's play it together. Let me walk you through it so you're not coming in blind. Show me. I'm open to that. So if there's a game that you really like that you think I don't like, mind you guys, I've been accused of liking too much shit. As long as you walk me through it, baby steps, and you explain, hey, this is like story, this is where you can get caught up. I am open, guys. If you can bless me with something that I don't know about, it truly is a blessing because it's just one more thing that I can play, one more thing that I can get entertained, and one more reason to pick up these sticks every day.
So that is, I do want to let y'all know Will not be here
Oh yeah, yeah.
the next 2 weeks. He is going on a much needed vacation. So it's going to be me. I'll try to line up a couple guests so y'all don't just have to listen to me ramble on. But that's how we started this thing. So if it comes to that, I definitely can talk to myself and to y'all for a couple hours about games. But Will's right. Like, y'all are the reason why I invested $1,400 into this channel with a new PC. Y'all are the reason that I have wanted to take this more professional. This channel is it's definitely turned into it's gone from me just talking about games and doing reviews to actually realizing that, hey, with as much as I game, with my time that I game, I can't get reviews out as fast as I want to yet. And so, because of that, I figured doing live streams, I love it. I love talking to the community, and doing live streams has been a great way to grow the channel. And y'all have not disappointed. I have people who constantly come in. Y'all are awesome for that. I have folks who, like tonight, I saw so many people's names get hit with those gifted memberships that have been in the chats before that just weren't talking tonight. And I found that to be awesome. Because what that shows is that people aren't just coming back for controversial topics and for just the hit pieces and the nights where we're really like going wild on everything and really having those, puff out your chest moments. Those are great and those are high viewership nights and those videos do better afterwards. But we still have a good core here. And I have always been one for, especially with this community, quality over quantity. And that's what we have here. We have a ton of quality people. We have an amazing Discord. I did fix the link. At the beginning of every show now, I'm going to update that link because this is the second week in a row that the link in the description didn't work. And so I'm going to get that taken care of. Also, I do have a review in progress for Diablo 4. I am planning, since I've over leveled my character a bit, I'm actually planning on just completing this, like the main story. And if I do that, if the chapters, if Act 2 and Act 3 are as short as Act 1, then I can have this thing done by Sunday night. No issue at all. I might have it completed Saturday.
I
Uh,
think it might be a little bit longer because the difficulty ramps up. Oh well, you say you're leveled up, right?
I'm level 45, dude. I'm almost to Paragon.
Yeah, I think I was
Like,
level around that when I third act, so you probably level up to like 50. But man, the last couple boss, I don't think the not the very last one, but a couple before that, man, they were just so difficult. And shout out to Warwana, bro. Without him, sheesh, I would have never had gotten through that. And he was so OP, man. He came in there, wipe, wipe, thank you, ma'am. And I was like, crap, I didn't even get to do anything. But yeah, man, it's and that's right. Diablo's a live service game right there, and it's one of my favorite games of last year was Diablo, man. Especially after playing with my friends and stuff, and the quality
so
of that game.
So what's really interesting is Will and I played a couple nights ago, and I'm in a seasonal thing because Wara told me to start seasonal because you get like all the cool patch stuff that comes with it. So like the faster XP, the better loot drops, all of that because this is the season of loot. They fixed the whole loot mechanic in it. And I was going around and literally when anything blue, yellow, whatever popped up, I was doing it. I thought it was just part of the game, part of the story, part of the missions. And Will hops in and he goes, "Man, you were talking about not liking all the live service stuff, and here you were just talking about how much this was great." And I was like, this is just the game." He goes, "No, man, these are world events for the new season. These are season events. The ones that are yellow ringed are season events, and the ones that are blue are actually side quests that are part of the main story." And I was like, oh shit. And it was almost like I'm only going to reference it. I'm not actually going to tell the joke, but Ron White has a joke about watching adult content and talking about how every dude is a little homosexual, just a little. And he goes on this whole thing, and at the very end of it, the other guy in the skit's like, "Huh, I guess I didn't know that about myself." And that's kind of how I felt. Will was like, "No, man, you just bragged and like not bragged, but you just talked up this whole like thing that you just got to do because you just hopped in there. It was so quick, it was so fast, and then it was over, it was done, and you moved on. That is a world event, part of the new season." And I was baffled. Like my jaw kind of like I stopped talking for a minute. And if you can ever get me to shut up with a new piece of information, you know you did something. So like it the way that they set this game up and the way that the season at least the new season content kind of integrates with it, I will say is a very clever way of doing it because the season doesn't break you out of the new game or of the story. You just like the new season is just like, hey, here's other stuff you can do while you're doing the story. And that was really cool. That's also how I leveled up to level 40 before I got out of the Fractured Peaks, which is the first section of the game, because I was doing every little thing that popped up. And yeah. So, anyways, certain live service games are good, certain live service games are bad, certain single player games are good, certain single player games are bad. And I think Will hit the nail on the head. If the gameplay is good, and it's in my lane. And Josh has challenged me on this before, and so have a couple other people, that if there was an action role playing game that came out and it was live service and you had the option of playing with other people and it was PvE, or I'm sorry, yeah, no, yeah, player versus environment. If it was like a co-op player versus environment type thing, then would you play it? And I'm sitting here thinking, well, shit, yeah, that game sounds amazing. That's kind of what I wanted Avengers to be. That's what Outriders was. And Outriders is a game that I have almost 500 hours in. Like, yes, I would absolutely play those type of games. But the problem is that in the live service space, at least, a lot of games, a lot. Now, I know Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Final Fantasy 14. I know the heavy hitters that people are going to bring up, but a lot of your really popular ones are just hero shooters. That's it. And if they're not, they're PvP, and then I have to deal with tryhards, and I get feel bads, and I don't play games to get feel bads. So, like, anyways, God dang it, Will, you done kept us another 20 minutes. I tell you what, you are suspended for 2 weeks.
Well, no, man, but that's just how much we love you guys, and I'm gonna miss you guys. It's gonna be a long vacation. I'm actually road tripping across America. I didn't want to. I really did not. I was in the military. I did a lot of traveling, but my family was like, "Hey, let's do it for the kids." They've never been to America, so that's what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be a good time. I am gonna miss my PS5. I'm taking my Portal with me. I hope that I'm able to make connection
Oh shit.
out here because man, what's that game? V Rising's coming out next week. I'm disappointed that you got to pay the $60 in order to play the game 6 days early instead of the $40 that it costs. And right now it's on sale for like 37 for being a PS Plus member. So I'm kind of a little uh, upset about that. I almost bought it for the Steam Deck, but I was unsure because it say it on the page that it was compatible, not green. Normally, when game is fully compatible to Steam Deck, it just has a green check mark. Otherwise, it has like a yellow, basically means kind of, but not 100%. So I try to stay away from those games because I know nothing of PC, so I don't know how to like make the controls work in my favor or none like that. The games that have the green check mark, they already got, for the most part, got all that work done for you, and sometimes you just got to go in there and select your controller layout. So I almost bought it for that, so I'm like, you know what? PlayStation for it to come out on PlayStation. So, and I got stuff to play anyways, and guess what? I ended up playing a 10-year-old game, Metro 2033. So that's just how gaming works sometimes, right? We're looking forward to all the cool shit, and that's another argument that people said when I'm talking shit about the state of play. It's like, well, yeah, it's their turn now, right? And I understand that, but I'm a selfish gamer and I want the new hotness, right? But thankfully, PlayStation has done a great job over the last decades supplying us with tremendous games that, I can always go back and play another single player narrative driven game for the third or fourth time, like I've done with Ghost and now I'm doing with Metro. So, but yeah, I'm sorry. Now I'm
Yeah, and so Byron, I've responded a couple times to you in the chat. I don't know if you saw it. I think that PlayStation getting into the fighter genre is actually not what they need to be doing right now.
the Spider. What's that?
Fighter,
Oh, Fighter.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
PlayStation needs to worry about what they do best, and that's single player
yup,
narrative driven
that's
games. But
they need to use this. Here's the deal. I will give them 6 months. Okay? So basically, for the first 5 months, or I'll give them 7 months. For the first 5 months of the year, they kept us well fed. Now we're kind of in a lull. Granted, we do get Astrobot. There are a couple games coming out that I won't play just because I'm a wuss. But like, they are giving us some things, but they're not giving us. It doesn't look like they're going to give us the big AAA blockbuster game this year. I will give them the 7 months, 6 months, whatever. What I won't do is if this continues on into like if 2025 comes around and we're like, okay, we still don't know about this, and this. Where are all these studios at? Where's their top five studios at? Why don't I know anything? At that point, then I'm coming down on them because then at that point, I think you have to look at it and go, okay, so something's wrong here. Something's massively, massively wrong. Right now, we can frame it because the rest of the industry is looking like everything is getting reset right now. And so it's not just them. And I know that that's a cop out. I know that that is something that the other side uses to explain their woes and their failures. But I think in this scenario, I think both Xbox and PlayStation can absolutely look to the rest of the industry and go, guys, it's not just us. The entire
yeah,
industry is having a fucking problem this year because
I
we
agree.
all overshot. We all believed our own hubris. We all drive Priuses and we all smelled our own farts. And if you haven't seen that South Park episode, go watch it. It's freaking hilarious. But we all believed our own hubris, and now we're having to scale back and get back to what we do best and
Yep.
business. And so I give them that. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because in December, I did not, and in January, they absolutely floored me. Less than 2 weeks after I had gone on a rant and Nelson and Will tried to pull me off the freaking cliff, like, they came out and they delivered. And so I'm not going to make that same mistake again until it's warranted. And right
And
now,
just
it's not.
and just to add a little bit to that, is it JP Loco that said that? Was it he
Uh,
who said about the Fight Club thing or the fighting
no, that's Byron.
or Byron? So Byron, and I agree with you to an extent. PlayStation should get into the fight. And look, I don't play any fighters at all. I'm actually looking to buy Mortal and only story, which I know is not what people want to hear that are fighting games, but I suck. But they should. You're absolutely right. But I always say, before you go out here to change the world, Make sure your house is in order. Make sure your bed is made. Make sure your house is clean. Make sure your wife is good. Your kids are good. Your husband, whatever. Make sure you got a full tank of gas. Make sure you're performing well at work. Make sure that your foundation is stable and is well secured, and then you can go out here and add more shit, add fighting games, add freaking competitions with what are MMORPGs or whatever you call them. Absolutely, let's get more because I'm of the thinking more games better. But you cannot go out and trying to get more fruit without the orange you have being squeezed with all the juice that you can possibly get out of it. Because all that's gonna do is add more distraction, thin them out even more. They need to handle the problems that they're having now, especially financially, with game costs and how much they're making and that whole thing. They need to get those studios that they purchased in the last few years. They need to get them established, get them putting out games already, and have those games be semi-successful, right? At least successful enough where the purchase has been warranted and at least secured in their own standing. Let's get them squared away first. Let's get our house squared away first before we try to go out there and expand. And once they do, bring it on. And I will be there day one to support my fellow gamers in whatever their endeavors may be, whether it's fighting, lives, it doesn't matter what it is, I will be there. But first, let's satiate that thing that made you successful. Let's get that thing that made you successful in full control of yourself. Let's get the formula, not just in how good of a game it is, but production, right? How long it takes to make something, the writers, how many we should have, how many, computer engineers, all that stuff. Let's get that stuff squared away first before we go out there and expand even more and then lose control of the shit that really matters.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's my thought. Like, it's not that I don't want them to make one because I thought it was the coolest thing in the world when Soul Calibur came out and it was a different version for each system. That was awesome. It had all the base characters for each system, but then the systems themselves had kind of system specific or console specific characters. I loved that. I believe on the Nintendo version you could play as Zelda, and on the oh shoot, who had I think in one of the Soul Caliburs you couldn't you play as like some of the Final Fantasy characters? I don't remember, but that was like the PlayStation side, and then one of them I think had Geralt from
The Witcher.
The Witcher, and like that was cool because it was the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that type of stuff, super cool. Do I think Sony needs to invest in that type of project right now? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. I think that they need to let Herman Holst get in there and deliver us some quality single player narrative driven games. That's what I think needs to happen. That's what I think should happen. I totally agree with Will on that. Do not go spreading yourself thin after you've just had to tighten up your ship. Don't do that. Bring us what we want. I'm going to
That's what
let you.
Xbox has been doing. And look where they're at.
Right. Right. Let's go ahead and buy everything and spread ourselves so thin, and well, now we're screwed. Like, it's is Sparking Zero really a live service? Are you freaking kidding me?
I told you.
Sparking Zero is live service too. God dang
Dude,
it.
there's only like three single player games that are not online requirements at all, and two of them are VR. The Alien game and the Behemoth game that I'm to, and Astro. That's it. Everything else is live
No,
service,
we were
multiplayer.
Josh and I in the chat while you were talking, him and I were talking about the DBZ game coming out, and it's called Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and it's supposed to be like a spiritual successor to the old Budokai games that had wonderful stories in them, wonderful storytellings through the series, and it spaced it out with fights and stuff like that, and like just a really well done game, super awesome games. And I was talking with him about it in the chat, and then somebody goes, "Yeah, it's live service." I was like, "Well, shit." But that also comes into the whole thing of, like Will said earlier, gameplay is king, guys. If the game is good, it doesn't really fucking matter if it's live service. And that, yes, is part of the problem, but it's also just the reality of us as gamers. Every
Yep.
single gamer out there is going to come off as a little hypocritical at some points. Okay? I can tell you I hate first person shooters with a bloody passion and then go on a rant about how Metro is one of the most fun games I have ever freaking played. And Last Light is amazing and the open world of what I've gone through in Exodus is phenomenal. And that is a 100% first person shooter that has the most ghettoest of maps, but also the map kind of fits with the way the story is. Like you have to pull up a fucking clipboard. Like it's nuts. And so like really cool the way they did it, but I don't get my map on the screen and it's bothersome. But the gameplay is so fun and the story is so good in those games. And the story is good because the author of the books is the one who writes the freaking stories for the games.
Yes, sir. That's why I'm excited for the Metro VR game because it's a prequel to 2033. But more importantly, the author is involved, and not just the author, but the people who made the Metro games are also gonna be helping out a little bit there. So I mean, that's just how you organically do it, man. That's why TV shows all that. It's like, dude, why are you guys messing up a successful thing? It's like I just don't get it. But yeah, man, that's you hit it on the spot there, Thrifty. You hit it on the nail on the head.
Like, and that's, I was thinking about that the other day when, you know, I wasn't really trying to call you a hypocrite in the Discord. I was trying to, basically, in an argument, using somebody else's logic against them is the most fun way to go about an argument. And so that's what I was trying to address was the logic of, and then I started thinking about it a couple days after, and I'm like, you know what? We all, as gamers, do that.
Oh
Every
yeah.
single person has, like Nelson said, he rags on live service games just as much as the rest of us do. But he also admitted that, I'm probably going to play every single one of these games at some point.
Shit,
Like,
he posted how he's got like almost 200 hours in Overwatch.
right, like, so every single one of us has a few blind spots when it comes to video games. I don't like a lot of the Yakuza games. I'm not just the most. Now, I haven't played any of the new ones, but I didn't like the older ones. But I liked Lost Judgment, and I liked Judgment. Lost Judgment is phenomenal. If you haven't, hey, Lost Judgment's on sale right now. It's like $20. If you haven't played that dang game, you need to go play Lost Judgment. The
Isn't that on
game,
PS Plus?
I think it's on premium or
Mm.
it's on premium or extra. But yes, it is part of the subservice. But seriously, buy the damn game. It's so fun. It's so good. The combat is well improved from the first Judgment, and the story is more of a detective story. And like you have to go and you get recruited into like being at a school and like you're going through and like you have to help like the dance club and like there's a dance mini game and you go around and you do these investigations and like there's gangs that are trying to come into the school and take over and they're bullying everybody and they're possibly led to a teacher's death. Like there's so much cool shit in that story and it's so fun. But I don't like any of the others. But if I tell folks I don't like Yakuza games, and then I say I like Lost Judgment, they're like, well, Lost Judgment is a Yakuza game. Well, yes, but the gameplay is king, and the gameplay and the way it's presented in Lost Judgment is not the same as it's presented in the other Yakuza titles. And so when you have a gamer, there is always going to be an exception to the rule. It's like the English language. I before E except after C. Everybody who went to school in America knows that freaking rule in English. The problem is that rule actually doesn't work every time. That rule doesn't work every single time. And so it's the same way with video games. The general rule of thumb is you're not going to catch me dead playing a shooter or a first person shooter. General rule of thumb. Now, That being said, you know what? I've played a few and I've loved them. I've played some. Titanfall 2, I finally bought the
Oh, I
game for
love that
five
game.
bucks. I played all 8 hours of that dang campaign, and I damn near teared up at the end. It was a very, very good game. It was awesome.
I just beat it last week.
And there's a new movie out with Angelina. No, not Angelina Jolie. Is it Jolie? No, it's not. Is it? Anyways, it's called Atlas. Jennifer Lopez. Sorry. It's called Atlas, and it's basically a Titanfall style game. Like,
Is it good? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. It's on Netflix. I
I
haven't
got it
seen
on my wish list.
it. So I'm I'm super interested in getting it and watching it. Um, there was one other thing I wanted to mention earlier, right before I got out of here. Oh yes, uh, Diablo 4. I am playing it. Y'all can jump in any freaking time you see me on. Also, follow Will on X. At Will777JP. I'm not lying about him being able to help find you deals and things like that. He is the reason. Well, Wario64 posted something. Will sent that post to me. So, Will is the reason I got my PlayStation Portal when I was able to get it. Because I was one of the lucky ones that their order went through on Walmart. And so he has his hand all over the sales. And guys, as I exit out of here, oh, that's what I was going to say. You will notice that if you go to the description, there is a new link in the description. Uh, And, well, there was supposed to be a new link in the description. I will fix that for next week. So next week, I will start advertising my wife's soap business that she has. She has over 100 new soaps that are ready to go, ready to be shipped, and so we had to go through kind of a rebuild phase for her soap supply because it got down real bad. She had several big orders come in that kind of wiped her out. And so she is back up and running now. She has over 100 soaps ready to go, and I'll have the link to her website. I'm not sure of the prices on there because she's handling most of that. Uh, and so, yeah, if that's something that interests y'all, y'all can. That's fine if you don't. It's not a requirement to be here. So, are you saying we need soap? Josh, y'all are in Australia. I don't know what y'all need. Like, I am going to research tonight, laying in bed, the Emu War, and see what the hell happened. Like, did civilians die? Like, were they? Because, anyways, Warwana, yeah, that does suck. But the reason PlayStation is so successful is from taking risks. It just so happens this didn't pan out. Yeah, shit happens. And great show, guys. Thanks, Toolman. I appreciate it, man. So funny thing about Toolman, he was my 100th subscriber and he was my 200th subscriber because he hopped out and then came back in like a week or two later, and I had no idea he was gone. Uh, Anyways, guys, that is the show. Y'all can follow me on X at ThriftyPSGR, and you can also follow me on the PlayStation at ThriftyPS underscore GR. And what do you? This link is fresh. Great show tonight. What link? Did he put a link in there that I didn't see? Oh, anyways, join the Discord. Like I said, we have a ton of fun in there. It's a blast. And yeah, that will do us for this week, guys. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for having a great time with us. I appreciate everything. And yeah, y'all have a wonderful night and check out those freaking sales. Also, Days of Play does have physical sales. So check those out as well. If you're a physical only, totally fine. They got you covered as well as us who are 60/40 digital physical. So, anyways, guys, have a good night. And as